This is college football on ABC Sports.
A postcard day in Seattle, Washington, as we settle down at Husky Stadium by the lake for the 11th meeting between the Michigan Wolverines and the Washington Huskies. 4 of those previous 10 meetings have been in the Rose Bowl. The Michigan Wolverines out of the Big Ten Conference come in under Lloyd Carr in his 7th season. His teams have been to a bowl game every year. This is a team that has a lot of unknown factors built into it as they start with a brand new quarterback and a lot of young people making their first appearance as starters. Across the field from Lloyd Carr is Rick Neuheisel in his 3rd season here at the University of Washington. They were co-champions in the Pac-10 and won the Rose Bowl game last year against Purdue. He came here from Colorado, and he's been very successful. For more on this ball game, for the moment, let's join Todd Harris.
Thank you, Keith. How do you replace a Samoan prince in Marcus Tuiasosopo? You turn the offense over to a calf-roping cowboy from Caldwell, Idaho, and Cody Pickett. Now he has the toughness genes. He went to the National High School Rodeo 2 years in a row, and his father, D. Pickett, was the 1984 World Champion Cowboy. The coaches say that rodeo experience will benefit him today as he faces a very aggressive Wolverine defense. He has faced Broncos, Bulls, and Mustangs, Keith and Tim, but today he tries his hand at breaking a Wolverine.
Well, Tim Brandt, undoubtedly the defenses will have the upper hand in the early going of this ball game.
Keith, they normally do this early in the season anyway, but Michigan comes in with a lot of experienced guys. I think the best linebacker core in the country with Hobson, Foote, and Brackens. And Washington, everybody knows about their team speed. Most of that is on defense.
John Anderson kicks it off for the Huskies. Michigan will have the ball first, and they'll start at their 20-yard line as Anderson kicks the ball beyond the field of play. So Washington won the toss, deferred, and Michigan has the ball on offense with John Navarre opening at quarterback, 6'6", and he's at 236 at least, depending on what he had for breakfast. But he does have some experience. If you remember, he started in relief of Drew Henson last year when Henson had the foot trouble. So he's not totally green.
Most impressive thing to me is he's thrown 109 passes, only 1 interception, none last week. He doesn't make many mistakes.
So Navarre takes the snap and hands the ball away to Chris Perry, who had been struggling with a sore ankle and is just now getting fit enough to play. He was the man that everybody thought would start at tailback. B.J. Askew played at tailback last week in Michigan's 31-13 win over Miami of Ohio. The Huskies have not played a game. Michigan has. That sometimes, Tim, makes a big difference.
It sure does. And I like a matchup here early on with Michigan. Watch Marquise Walker. He's 6'4" as a wide receiver going against short cornerbacks.
Navarre will stay with the ground game, and they find daylight with Perry. Perry is at 6'1", 235, and a sophomore out of Advanced, North Carolina. And he is going to be, many think, the next great running back at Michigan. The referee today, it's an all Pac-10 crew with 171 years of experience on it, led by referee Gordon Reese, who's playing with a very sore back. So he's not as nimble as he used to be. 3rd down and very short now for the Wolverines as the big quarterback leans his 6'6" frame into the melee along the line of scrimmage and has the first down. So here are the backs and receivers now for the University of Michigan. B.J. Askew had 20 carries last week. But as we told you, Chris Perry has stepped up in there, and Askew will stay familiar with fullback. The offensive front, a lot of changes. A lot of young people there, but they're doing a pretty good job. Navarre's first pass of the day is well wide of the target, Marquise Walker. The offensive line, they've changed virtually from end to end here because 4 of last year's starters will be starting in the NFL tomorrow. Now, you talk about losing people, that's losing people, quality.
Pretty interesting here. Michigan going with a no-huddle offense in this series.
Well, we saw Wisconsin do it. The spread has been spread throughout the Big Ten by Joe Tiller at Purdue. That is well played. Chris Berry taking the ball, and Perry is brought down in a big hurry by Ben Madabi.
talked about it last week with Wisconsin. I called it the Purdue-ification of the conference, and certainly we're seeing it here with Michigan, spreading it out, nobody in the backfield. With Navarre, they just try to get it out to the receivers quickly and let them run, but you know, that's so untypical of a Michigan team.
It is 3rd down and 10+ yards for Michigan. Washington defense beginning to wake up a bit here. The spread didn't work too well. They go back to it, however. Navarre has all day to throw. Throws underneath and throws short of the first down to Bill Seymour, the tight end. They needed to get to the 41. He goes down just about the 38.
Now, Keith, that is Michigan. That's a tight end offense. It always has been, always will be. He's short of the first down, and that's his fault. The ball was thrown well, but again, that was Michigan football going to the tight end drag.
So it is 4th down and 2 yards to go. And Michigan will punt. Epstein's in. Willie Hurst is waiting back on the 15-yard line. Willie is a senior tailback for the Huskies. And Hayden gets a lot of ball under it. He's a young man from down around the La Jolla area. That's a very good punt. 41 yards, big hang time, 20-yard line for Washington. Cody Pickett, which would he prefer? Option, which he's going to have to do today, or the pocket? And this is what the son of a cowboy said.
I'm a throwing guy, you know. I like to be in the pocket. I like to be. If I had my way, I'd put myself in the shotgun and just throw the ball every down, you know. But the option kind of keeps the defense on their toes, you know. So I've been here for 2 years and been running it for 2 years, so I feel comfortable with it.
I'll tell you what, you put a white hat on, a spotted pony, and a 6-gun on the hip, and he'd just fit, wouldn't he?
Yeah, but today he can't be a cowboy. He's got to be a bullfighter and dodge some of these big guys coming after him.
Huskies set up with a single back. Willie Hurst is the single back. He's going to throw. He puts it high in the air. It is incomplete. Intended for Reggie Williams. Reggie Williams is a true freshman.
Keith, that's the first true freshman to start for Washington, and I can't remember how long. He comes in, he's using that 6'4" frame. We talked about the mismatch on the other side. Well, here's one as well. Howard's only 5'10", and as good as he is, they're going right at it with the freshman. That's how much confidence they have in him. He was one of the top high school recruits in the entire nation.
The ball was on his hands, too. So it is 2nd down and 10 for the Huskies, and now they put the fullback in there as a blocker as Pickett runs the option coming around the corner. He's a 220-pounder, not a gimme. And he's up to the 30-yard line and a first down before Cato June brought him down. The backs and receivers for the Washington Huskies, there's a lot of speed here, a mix of experience with Hurst at tailback. You know that tight end Jeremy Stevens is being penalized for an off-season infraction. He will sit the first half, play the second half. He's a big target. The offensive front for Washington, they're green as grass here. At center, you've got Kyle Benn, the only senior up there, but there are 4 300-pounders in the group. As the ball is thrown again through the hands of Reggie Williams. So Williams now has had a chance. He looks a bit awkward at that position because he's still growing. He's a bit of a baby, and he's running into circumstances here that he has not seen before.
His heart has to be pounding so fast right now. It's like somebody flashed a flashbulb in his eyes. He's missed 2 passes, really, as you said, were on his hands.
It is 2nd down and 10. So the Huskies come out with guns blazing, showing no conservatism at all. Throwing the ball to the freshman. There's a call for offsides against Michigan if Washington didn't move, and that may very well be an offside call against the Wolverines. I didn't see anybody in the home colors moving.
Good hard count by Cody Pickett, the young sophomore. I tell you what, they say he is faster than Tuiasosopo.
So it is going to be a 5-yard penalty for offsides. Michigan's defensive front, a 4-man front, solid unit. Not the first time at Michigan first-year starters have played well, and I think these will too. They're big linebackers. All 3 starters return here. I mean, these guys are something. Foote and Hobson already have 100 career tackles. Eric Brackens needs only 5 more to reach 100. And the secondary is also pretty good. Todd Howard may be the bell cow of that bunch. And here's Washington on first down and 2nd down and 5, moving for a couple of yards on the carry by Willie Hurst.
You know, Washington is a tough team to defend against. It's not easy to stop the Huskies' running game with 7 guys. But when you move 8 or 9 up there, you leave yourself vulnerable to their passing game. And the option, which we saw earlier with Cody Pickett, is a great neutralizer. So it's a tough team to defend because it's so multiple. And here again, 3rd and short, you don't know if you're on defense if they're going to run or pass.
Carl Diggs, number 43, is in there at the middle linebacker position right now, replacing Brackens. Brackens has been dinged up a little bit. The ball is thrown toward the sideline. The ball is thrown well behind Paul Arnold, a wide receiver. Arnold had been a running back the first 2 years here, very fast. He couldn't handle the pounding of being a running back, so he moved to wide receiver, and he's just learning the trade. But let me tell you something. If you don't get him early, you're going to be looking at his hip pocket because he is a burner.
I agree with that. And Williams and Arnold were forced in early because Justin Robbins and Todd Elstrom both have some sore hamstrings.
Derek McLaughlin is in to punt for Washington. He should hit the ball up around his 25-yard line. Julius Curry is waiting for Michigan. Kick is away. It's a low liner. He's got some room. He gets away from that first man. Now he's at the 40. Now he's got daylight. And he's all the way to the Washington side of the field. A great return by Julius Curry gives Michigan the football, first down at the Washington 45. It was a 40-yard return, a punt, and a 32-yard return. No score.
Two tight ends, watch the boot.
He's got the ball, and there's no room to run. Huskers take him down. Maybe he'll get a yard on it. This is a tough Washington defense. They fundamentally are a 3-man front, anchored by senior tackle Larry Triplett, now at 300 pounds. Marcus Roberson, a big senior, too. And the linebacking core, these outside people will look like defensive ends to you most of the time because they play out there. Newcomer Kai Ellis, number 90, he's been a terror in camp, and it's a very tough, aggressive unit. Secondary, pretty good. Omari Lowe has 14 starts, and that Carruthers had 27 tackles as a freshman, so they'll hit you. Navarre's pass deep, got a man, intercepted. He was late getting the ball to him. He had him, and then he took too long to get it there, and the Washington defender, Rock Alexander, who once ran a 10-300 meters in high school in Colorado, he has the speed to correct the mistake and made the interception.
I'll tell you this, Bellamy is 6 feet. Rock Alexander, who's wearing a harness on a sore shoulder, had that inside-out position, just kept him away and got the ball at its highest peak. You cannot play any better defense than that right there by Alexander. Now, I want you to watch Navarre and what happened to him. He waited too long. He released the ball. He could have really taken a shot. He got away with one there and went down soft. But if he waits much longer, they're going to start teeing off on him.
Well, Ron Bellamy is a former running back, playing that wide-out position himself.
He lost position, though, Keith, and that cost him the pick.
He just probably still learning the trade. Great play by Alexander, however. Here's a little bit of daylight. The ball carrier, Willie Hurst, ran into one of his own people and lost his momentum, and they take him down. Just a little bit short of the line of scrimmage.
Keith, you've talked about Washington's offensive line. They lost Silvers and Praise and Ward and Call, and that's a huge loss. But they still have Kyle Ben in the middle. He's the center. And now you bring in some of these sophomores and juniors. You have one freshman in there. And I'm telling you something. This is a line that averages 305. And right now they're getting after that Michigan front pretty good.
They are. Second down and still a little more than 10. Play clock is not working for the moment. Cody Pickett's pass to the sidelines. It's a great catch by Reggie Williams. He didn't handle it too well the first 2 times, but this one he made a great catch on it, and there's a penalty flag over there. He caught it over Todd Howard.
Well, those first 2 misses, that was just the butterfly net. He got the butterflies out. Now look at this. Very few guys can do that. You cannot teach that. That is a talented freshman, 6'4", 215 pounds, laying out and making that catch. He's got a tough body and soft hands. He's going to be a superstar.
And the penalty is against Michigan. So Reggie Williams makes the play. When you watch, you know, it's oftentimes you can sit on a bench on a lazy Thursday or Friday afternoon and watch a team work out. You can look out on the field and see who it is that glides, who's got this just God-given athletic ability, and I think Reggie Williams is one of those guys. He moves so effortlessly. Well, this effort at the option goes awry as Larry Foote, a co-captain from Detroit, hammers Cody Pickett.
You know, you talk about Cody Pickett being a tough guy and, you know, roping cows and things like that. He has to be tough here. I just want you to watch his head. Once he gets stood up and wrapped around, and watch what happens right here. Now watch, he takes a shot, boom, right to the chops. He's got to be tough. He felt that. He gets stood up and somebody else comes in and wraps your face.
Carl Diggs.
You've got to go back to that huddle and look your guys in the eye and say, hey, I'm still here. How about you? Let's get going.
It is going to be second down at about 13 for Washington on this snap. Pickett, little draw action, hands the ball off to Hurst. Willie's got some room and has a good gain out of it. Gets up to the 37-yard line.
Michigan saying they got the fumble. The ball's dead. It's still Washington's ball. But I'll tell you something about Willie Hurst. He's got the quickest feet that I think I've seen in the last 2 seasons. He can just stop on a dime, change his direction. He's got great balance, low center of gravity. He didn't get the first, but that was a spectacular little run.
Well, I think that run he had here a year ago against Arizona, probably, he's had more confidence ever since then. Plus the fact he's been healthy. He doesn't have to take the battering that he did in the first half of the season last year either. There's some talent at that backfield position. Cody Pickett coming down on the option. Delivers it outside. There's good pursuit by Michigan. And Hurst will go down short of the 35-yard line. Larry Foote made the pursuit and made the tackle.
Keith, that's inexperience showing there by Cody Pickett. Tuiasosopo would have forced that up into the line and made the defense commit to him. Pickett never sold him that he was going to carry.
Time remaining in the first quarter, 7:09 here in Seattle. Husky Stadium, where the Michigan Wolverines are about to accept a Washington punt of the ball game. There is no score. The game just getting going here in the first period. Julius Curry had a 32-yard punt return. His last try, but this time they nail him down pretty well. At about the 33-yard line, 41-yard punt and a 9-yard return. Yeah, Old Spirit says there's nothing like a good massage, no matter what time of day.
That's some serious tongue dragging there.
Michigan ball first down on their own 33-yard line. They send Bellamy in motion. And Navarre hands the ball away to Chris Perry. And Perry, looking like the Chris Perry we expected, will have the ball up around the 40-yard line and a big gain of about 8 yards. Next Saturday, ABC Sports, great college football regional action, 3:30 Eastern. Some will watch Notre Dame and Purdue. Others will see Washington at Miami. So check your local listings for details. Huskies are scheduled pretty heavily the first 2 weeks. Michigan and Miami. Second down and 3. It's Perry again. And he's going to have his first down.
You know, it's interesting to see Michigan now starting to settle into its game plan. I know that Stan Parrish has his plays scripted. He wants to see how the defenses react. We've already seen Michigan go completely wide out, no backs in the backfield, but now they're getting back to Michigan football. They're starting to pound it a little bit. We've seen a lot of the 2 tight ends. We've had the tight end drag across the middle. The one guy they haven't thrown to yet is Marquise Walker, and I suspect they'll be looking for him soon. There he is, right there.
They threw it one time, but they didn't throw the ball up for him because he is a great leaper. B.J. Askew is in there, but they're throwing the ball, and the pass is completed to the tight end, Bill Seymour, and it's a big game for Michigan down near the 36-yard line on the Washington side of the field.
I think that is the toughest play in football to stop. You're bringing the tight end all the way across the line. Now, if you watch this, he's on the right-hand side, and now he'll get by his back, and he just slides out into the flats, and he's wide open. It's a total mismatch when you look at Seymour being 6'4", and Alexander being 6 feet.
He picked up 20 yards on the play. First down for the Wolverines, and Navarre goes back to throw again. Heat's coming and wants to set up the screen. The ball ricochets, and it is an incomplete forward pass. But B.J. Askew, who's in there as a junior out of Cincinnati, 228 pounds, 6'3", and had 20 carries last week. I didn't give you all of the officials a while ago. Gordon Reese, the referee. Walt Wolf, the umpire. Cleo Robinson, the head linesman. Chuck Zubin, line judge. Colin McDermott is the field judge. Matt Gilchrist, the side judge. And Jack Folliard, the back judge. And if it happens that Gordon Reese can't go all the way today with that bad back, then Jack Folliard would step up and become the referee. Second down and 10 for Michigan. They'll try to run it in the middle with Askew, and this time he is cut down quickly by Kai Ellis. Kai Ellis, they call him the Creature. He's from Kent, Washington, and he was going to go to Washington State, but he didn't get in there with everything, and so he goes down to junior college and comes back not to Washington State, but to Washington. And they're still grumpy in Pullman. Third down and 10. Navarre hit like a bullet. Greg Carruthers on a little bit of a delay. Carruthers read the play and said, wait a minute, he can't have that much time, and he went and got him.
Boy, give Tim Hundley a lot of credit. I mean, you've got your safety blitz. You're coming up here, and they're bringing the blitzes. Watch out of the right hand of your screen now at the top, and here comes Carruthers. So they back the linebackers out after blitzing them the first two times, and Carruthers comes up off the edge on a safety blitz.
And Epstein is in to punt for the second time today with Willie Hurst waiting back at his 10-yard line. He's trying to kill it deep, and Willie calls for fair catch, and they'll take it up around the 12, 13-yard line. And there the Huskies will have, again, relatively poor field position for their third possession of the ball game. We're still in the first quarter. It's a warm day in Seattle, going to be in the high 70s, probably 80-plus on the field. On where Michigan side, however, they're in the shade already, so it's much cooler. And you see the all-time records of these two schools. Michigan wins today. They become the all-time leader in wins in college football at 807. They're tied right now with Yale. Of course, Yale could win, too, today. Not much going as the Michigan overwhelms Rich Alexis on his first carry of the ball game. I guess the Ivies open up next week, don't they?
Talked about that linebacker crew, and I'll tell you what, Victor Hobson, number 6, he'll be at the top left of your screen. He comes, penetrates along with Foot and Brackens, or Diggs rather, and look at 43, 17, and 6 get to the football. All three linebackers wrapped around that football. Diggs, Foot, and Hobson.
That is a lethal group.
And quick.
Well, you're not going to make hay running east and west against Michigan, I don't believe. I don't know very many people have ever done it. Northwestern might have last year. Up the middle. 9-yard line where Alexis is brought down. He's the 225-pound sophomore out of Coral Springs, Florida.
Here's another situation, Keith, where the linebacker stepped up. Foot took the lead blocker. Diggs made the tackle. It just doesn't get much better than that.
Well, when Diggs is the newcomer in the group, Brackens is dinged up.
He's got a bad ankle, right.
When your three linebackers have 100 tackles, you know, they've been pretty busy.
No question about it.
Marlon Jackson is in there now. Defensively, number 20, he's really quick. Started last week. Quick little pop, looking for the first down, and they'll get it. As Todd Elstrom, they won't get it. Gets up to the 15-yard line. I meant to say they won't get it. Elstrom is a senior and played last year. Chris Juergens left the team because he just couldn't seem to get his knee rehabbed, and he got tired of the pain. So
defense fooled Cody Pickett that time. They brought Marlon Jackson on a corner blitz, so they thought it was going to be open, and Curry, the safety, stepped up along with Drake.
And we're punting again with Eric McLaughlin in to do the punting. He's done 40 and 41 on his first two kicks. Oh, blocked through the end zone. Marquise Walker, wide out, blocks it. It goes through the end zone, and Michigan goes to the lead 2-0.
Just splitting the gaps. Everybody's coming hard. Watch the edge. boom. Gets his hands on it, and they can't recover it, goes out of the end zone for the safety. But special teams with so many new young people, they overwhelm 2-on-1 on the corner. They can't keep them both out. One comes free, lays out. That is so well done.
Marquise Walker, the wide receiver.
Just speed, Keith.
Yep, and height, 6'3". But he got his elbows on that one. So the Wolverines get on the board first, and whatever it is, they'll take 2-0. At less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter of play. We're playing on the field turf here at Seattle. One of the synthetic surfaces that's going about the country. So they haven't had much rain down in this part of the country. This summer's been a relatively dry summer anyway. So
Michigan has not played on this field turf before, but they do have it in their indoor facility, so they're used to it. Hasn't caused a problem.
You've got Notre Dame at Nebraska tonight here on ABC at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. There'll be some feelings in that one. Marcus Curry and Julius Curry are waiting for the kick here. That'll be a punt from McLaughlin. Marcus is a freshman out of Detroit, and Julius is the junior out of Detroit. And the kick is high in the air, back to the 18-yard line. And here comes Julius Curry, got past the first wave and comes up to about the 37-yard line. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chrysler. We're reinventing the passion for driving. Budweiser, with the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. Morgan Stanley, formerly Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. Move your money, get well connected. And FedEx, shipping at FedEx.com. It's fast, it's easy, and it just got cheaper. And that's a FedEx package on the way to my house. In a Beaver. First down and 10 from the 37-yard line. This is Chris Perry. A couple of yards on the carry. Times Square Stadium now, New York. John Saunders.
Well, Keith, as you know, Texas put it to North Carolina pretty good this afternoon. Brett Robin on this 12-yard run here gets them up to 44 points. The players went to head coach Mack Brown, said, let's not kick the extra point so we can finish at 44 in honor of Cole Pittman, who died in a car crash in February.
Second down and 8. Chris Perry again, and the Huskies now starting to read him a little bit better and read the up-front blocking perhaps a little better. He's up to the 40-yard line. They'll be looking at 3rd down and 7.
What a nice job by Kurt Anderson, the center, the 5th-year guy. Here's your All-American. Watch him. He's just going to ride him right out of there. He's going to let Triplett actually run himself out. Nicely done, and the ball carrier comes right up under him. Boy, that is a 5th-year experience right there, saying, hey, one-on-one with Triplett, I don't know if I can beat him, but I can let his momentum take him away from the play.
Kurt was a pretty good defensive player until they moved him over to look at the world upside down. 3rd down and 7. Justice show blitz. And they chase B.J. Askew toward the sidelines and stop him well short of the first down. Rock Alexander making the tackle.
Played nickel last year, Alexander. Fastest guy on this team. He is wearing a harness today on his arm. He's got a dinged up shoulder. Thought that was going to bother him, but he got that interception right away from Bellamy, so obviously he went up hard for it.
We've played one in Seattle. ABC Sports presentation of college football returns after this message and a word from our ABC station. Michigan leading Washington 2-0. It's amazing. We go to the second quarter. Michigan leads 2-0 over the Washington Huskies at Husky Stadium in Seattle. Hayden Epstein is in to punt for Michigan. Gets it away. Willie Hurst is waiting for it. Ball's going to bounce around and bounce back up the field and bounce out of bounds at about the 28-29-yard line. Again, New York, and this update from John.
And time for the Coors update, Keith. A week ago, Joey Harrington led his squad against Wisconsin to come from behind to win. Today against Utah, Hooks up with Keenan Howery, 25 yards for the touchdown. And right now, Oregon has a 4-point lead. Meanwhile, Wisconsin, who they beat last week, Wisconsin loses at home to Fresno State. Fresno now 3-0.
I think Fresno State's in a wake-up call to a lot of people.
Boy, isn't that the truth?
Corvallis and Madison.
Well, they beat Colorado, too.
And Colorado, yeah. Hit from behind. Pickett completes the pass to Ken Walker, a fullback. So he got hammered, but the ball flipped up in the air just far enough for Walker to make the catch. Gain is about 6 yards. Pacific Life game summary to this point. You see that Michigan's been throwing the ball quite a bit here in the early going. And Washington, on the other hand, has rushed the ball because mainly, I would say, field position has been against them.
Although I think Michigan now is starting to settle into its game plan more. You'll see more running out of him.
This is Pickett taking the ball out of the belly of the fullback, keeping it, and bringing it up to the 40-yard line for a first down before Cato June, who was hurt all of last year, makes the tackle for Michigan.
Keith, early in the game, he ran that option and did not sell the fact that he was a runner. And he pitched the ball early, and it didn't go anywhere. This time, he comes down the line of scrimmage, he reads the defender, he fakes the pitch, turns it up, and gets some pretty good yardage out of it. They say he's faster than Tuiasosopo, so that option is still very real here at Washington.
Rick Neuheisel said he thought this would be a patient game. So far, it's been that. Hang around, and wait for something good to happen. Throw it back to the other way, and it is caught by Alexis, and Rich Alexis, the tailback, is brought down to Shante Orr, a defensive end, just short of his first down. They'll give him the 47-yard line on the play. That leaves him about 3 short.
Rick Neuheisel was a quarterback, so he's kind of putting things in slowly, but he's letting Pickett now take over. Here's a little fake on the boot, throw back, and now look at all the blockers up front. And you give it to a guy like Alexis, who is very fast, set that freshman rushing record last year with 738 yards. Great misdirection, nice play.
Beckett almost got there in time. If he gets there in time, that could have been a big play. It goes down the middle. It's a knuckleball, tipped at the line of scrimmage, and a penalty flag flutters in, and that might be an interference call.
That was intended for Joe Collier, who's in for Jeremy Stevens.
It can't be interference because the ball was tipped.
Well, if that was their reason for throwing that flag, they certainly will pick it up. Yeah. We'll see Stevens in the second half.
It's a holding call. And it's against the Wolverines. Coach Carr ain't happy.
Automatic first down.
Holding call is automatic first down.
Well, not only that, but that's Michigan's second penalty. Last week in the opener against Miami of Ohio, they had only 2 penalties all day.
He's giving that line judge an earful. Puts the ball down at the Michigan 43-yard line for the Huskies. Alexis out. Great speed, and by one hand, Cato June hangs on and finally gets him. Otherwise, it's 6.
Boy, he is so explosive. 225 pounds, but he runs like he's about 180. Watch this. They come in a 2 tight end formation and just going to put him on the corner. He gets outside and picks up a blocker on the edge. Then he just explodes. He had that shoulder operation after the Rose Bowl, sat out spring practice. His legs are fresh, and folks, he is moving today.
25-yard line. First down for the Huskies. Their first threat of the game. Pickett's pass. Drilled incomplete. Off the hands of Todd Elstrom. Elstrom had cut between defenders. It was a little crowded there, and he really didn't have possession until the ball got there with Jackson and Hobson. Hobson's a linebacker, had dropped back.
Keith, I disagree. I think he should have had this. This ball is thrown with authority, velocity, and right where it has to be. It hits him right between the 1 and the 8. He's got to make that catch. 47 catches last year. He's a veteran. He knows he's going to get hit. He might as well catch it.
Well, he got hit. Second down and 10. Alexis goes in motion and goes wide left. Pickett's going that way, looking for him, and now they'll track him down after a yard pickup. Shante Orr kept the pursuit going.
Boy, I just like the way Cody Pickett walks. He carries himself with confidence, walks around like he should be there, that he's the leader. He just looks big time, 6'4", 210 pounds. Jeremy Stevens, the all-world tight end. See what he did last year. Had that incident in May, so he's being punished here in the first half. He'll be in the second half.
Larry Stevens for Michigan is in the ball game, and he is from Tacoma, so he's sort of come back home to play today. Michigan bouncing around defensively. Pickett quickly gets it away. Penalty flag is down as this time Elstrom makes the catch.
You know, I don't know this, and we'll wait to see what the flag is, but I guarantee you, knowing Todd Elstrom, he went back to the huddle after that miss, said, run that play again. I want another shot.
Huskies are called for illegal procedure. This is what Rick Neuheisel says about Cody Pickett.
What I like most about him is his toughness. Now, he grew up a rodeo kid. He was roping steers and calf in high school, making money doing that. He grew up on his home address was 1414 Chicken Dinner Road, so he knew he had to be tough.
It's almost as bad as being named Sue.
Hey, didn't you like him the other night, though, when we were sitting there talking to him? He's just a hard-nosed, card-playing, poker-faced cowboy. But he looks like a little kid.
Yeah, he's got something about him.
He does.
The ball is resting on the 29-yard line, where it is third down now after that penalty, and 14. So the Husky possession's about to stall, unless they can do something pretty big here. And with the timeout on the field, Pickett has gone to the sidelines to talk.
How about Rick Neuheisel saying that somebody called timeout? They said no, so now he's taking it.
He's about to get hit with a flag for burning the play clock, but the play clock itself now looks like it might be working again. So we'll take a timeout too. All right, there you see the numbers on the crowd today. That's considerable testimony, I would say, to the appetite for college football here in a city that basically is dominated by the incredible success of the Seattle Mariners this baseball season. They're at home. Pickett's pass underneath. Alexis, the tailback, makes the catch short of the first down. He's a yard short. So it's going to be 4th down and 1 for Washington down near the Michigan 26-yard line. Monday night premiere of Monday Night Football. New York Giants and NFC champions going to Denver to face the Broncos in their new house. That'll be live at 9 Eastern and 6 Pacific on ABC. Here's the field goal try. John Anderson, big leg on this fella. I mean, he's kicked it a mile, and he's down the highway, 43 yards. And Washington takes the lead, 3-2. And Rick's thinking about calling the bullpen. A 3-2 ball game with 12 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the second quarter of play. Husky Stadium in Seattle, and I mean, it is a glorious day.
You know, not an unusual game score-wise either. We said coming in it was going to be a defensive battle. I guess if you look at the score, though, you say, well, it's had a lot of hits, few errors, 3-2 going into the second.
There's some 200 boats sitting right out there behind the scoreboard practice field. One of the bigger flotillas I've seen in recent years. There's your kickoff by Anderson, going down and deep into the end zone and no return. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Chevrolet. If only everything was as dependable as a Chevy. Chevy will be there. Aflac, without it, no insurance is complete. And Circuit City, we know how you feel. That's why we're here. Circuit City, we're with you. And you see the Beaver finishing its journey, landing on Lake Union in the heart of the city. Wait for me. We'll be there right about 10 after 4. First down from the 20-yard line now for the Michigan Wolverines. Navarre, your quarterback, rolls it out to the right, buys time with it, throws over the head. The receiver had broken off the pattern, and coming across was Larry Triplett, and Triplett whacked Navarre as he threw the ball, but the referee was looking right at it and made no call on it.
Well, Navarre held on to it too long, and Marquise Walker, this is the first pass they've gone to him today, and they missed it. But I will tell you this, Triplett chased him all the way down. Had he not held on and he threw on time, Walker was open. He's got to deliver that ball. He'd save himself a hit, and he'd pick up a first down.
So it's second down and 10 for the Wolverines at their own 20. Nobody in the backfield. That pass thrown hard and misses the intended receiver, B.J. Askew, who had gone in at tailback. Larry Triplett, when he gets a circumstance where he's not double or triple team, you know, he gets pretty excited. This is what he said.
You know what? It is very frustrating fighting double teams all the time. I look for those one-on-one battles because whenever you can take on a person one-on-one, of course you're going to feel more confident. And that's where I feel like I'm at my best. But if I haven't taken a double team for the team, I will do it.
He must have been one up a while ago. Navarre back again, throws high and away. So John now is, this is the kind of a half he had against UCLA in the Rose Bowl last year. And the Bruins beat them. And we got a ruckus going on across the way. So there's some hooting and hollering over there about that. And he might get a flag. The officials jumped in there pretty quick. And I guess maybe we don't have a flag on it.
I'll tell you, the most important thing is now Washington is starting to get after Navarre, and he's taking hits. You saw Triplett get him a minute ago. Here again, he steps up into the pocket. Doesn't hold it too long, but, you know, they're giving him decent protection most of the time. This time they don't get to him, but he then throws the ball high and wide to Walker, who is now getting frustrated.
So it's punting time with Epstein coming in, and he'll hit it from around the 10-yard line with Willie Hurst standing back on his 30. Epstein so far is 41, 30, and 27. And this one won't turn over for him. It's a tail dragger, though, and it's going to take a favorable bounce for Michigan and roll dead down around the 36-yard line. Now time for the Aflac trivia question, and this week's question is a good one. Which head coach has the best record in the Michigan-Washington series? Rick Neuheisel, Don James, Lloyd Carr, Gary Moeller, or Bo Schembechler? Give you the answer in a while. 11:49 to go in the first half of play. A 3-2 lead for Washington on a field goal from 43 yards. Michigan blocked the punt, went through the end zone and got their safety. Marquise Walker blocked the kick. Willie Hurst is the single back. Willie's got it up the middle. Willie Hurst is 5'10", but he weighs 210 pounds, out of Compton, California. He's very quick, and he's healthy for a change.
Willie Hurst, we talked about his balance, his low center of gravity. Watch this, folks. Last year against Arizona, does a little pirouette. You talk about balance. Look at it again. One hand stays up, does a 360, and still explodes into the end zone. He has that great balance, low center of gravity, and tremendous quicks.
And I think that one play meant so much to him last year. He's had confidence ever since. Here's Cody Pickett's pass. Reggie Williams. 6'4", 215-pound true freshman from Lakewood, Washington.
This kid's a superstar. He is just going to be phenomenal. 6'4", 215. You were sitting there Thursday as we watched practice and said, look at him glide. He is silky smooth. And not only that, but it appears that Cody Pickett just has tremendous confidence in him. That's a difficult pass to throw. The quick out, the hitch on the sidelines, boom, put it right there, and he put it high for Williams to go up and get it.
Don't praise him too much, too early.
He's going to be a great one.
Got to hunker down some first. This is Hurst. He almost broke that. 40-yard line. That's what Hurst can do. He is so quick, and he's strong. And time called by Gordon Reese. They'll have a look.
Again, you see that balance. You see that explosion. He's only 5'10", but he's over 200 pounds. Willie Hurst, senior.
Change coming on the field to see whether or not he picked up a first down.
Yep, he got it.
UCLA in a romp today over Kansas, 41-17. So the real stumble so far for the Pac-10 conference in the early going was the stumble by Oregon State at Fresno, but now Fresno's starting to make some sense of their posture. Next Saturday, that's your lineup: Notre Dame and Purdue at 3:30 Eastern Time, or Washington at Miami. On 1st and 10 from the 40. Little quick pop into the middle. Now you've got to be confident in order to throw the ball into that kind of traffic, because all you need is one little tip and it's up in the air, and there's a lot of defenders in that territory.
But you know what, Keith? You see this right here? This is something they teach in Pop Warner. It's just called a pop pass. Cody Pickett's been doing since he was 8 years old. He has confidence. All he has to do is get the snap, and the quicker he can get it to Collier, the better it is. Yeah, because it's hard to defend.
It's the first play in the ball game for Joe Collier. He just came in. And Pickett roll into the sidelines. Pass is caught. Penalty flag is thrown and out of bounds. Reggie Williams again. But there's a penalty flag back up here where Pickett threw the ball. And it's almost surely going to be roughing the passer.
Keith, you say don't praise him too early. I don't know how you can. I mean, he's a superstar. You don't want to sit there and analyze him. You want to admire him. He's just fun to watch. He looks like a big-time receiver, and Cody Pickett just puts it perfectly out there for him. But look how he maintains his balance, does a little tightrope walk down the sidelines, almost scored.
Marcus Curry, the freshman brother from Detroit, was trying to defend and just couldn't handle it.
The only thing you want to work on with a young kid like this is technique. He's got the athletic ability. You can see they worked hard with him. That was a tremendous route, great technique. And then here's your penalty. That's by Foot, the veteran, the senior linebacker, who knocked him late after he passed it.
Well, he was trying, had no hands involved, and just couldn't get away from him. So it's now Williams with 3 catches for 66 yards. And the Washington Huskies own the football. 1st and goal, just inside the Michigan 3. Willie Hurst is the deep man. He gets it. Did I say 3? I meant outside the 5. It's been near the 8. Carl Diggs on that play as he gets inside the 5 now to the 4, where it's 2nd down and goal.
That play never got going. They took the H back. They tried to have an overloaded power, and it just didn't work. I'll tell you this, if this offense gets going, look out, because we talked about it being a multiple attack, and it's gone 228 games without being shut out. They can score.
Now they put the fullback up in front as a blocking back. Pickett rolls it out, looks to the end zone, keeps it, and takes a lick at the 2-yard line. Knocked down by Larry Foote, who tracked him all the way across the line of scrimmage.
We're watching a lot of Cody Pickett here, number 3. And he's just learning, and he's young. But 8 times last year, this team scored more than 30 points. And when they got inside the 5, Tuiasa Sopo was the guy that took it in. Let's see if Pickett does it.
Well, he had nobody to throw the ball to on that last play. He had to take it. Keeps it, turns it, and they're going to take him down a yard short of the line of scrimmage. It was Carl Diggs and Larry Foote, 2 of the linebackers, making the play for Michigan.
Yeah, and Hurst is really upset because Pickett didn't read it correctly. When they came to Pickett, he's got to pitch it. Hurst was wide open on the corner. Now they run the option. You'll see Pickett come down the line. All right? He now reads they're on him. He's got to get it out. There's nobody outside to Hurst. Instead, he tried to tuck it away, and it didn't work. Bad read.
And so they'll settle for a field goal try from John Anderson, who hit a 43-yarder earlier. Here's penalty flags. The kick is up, and it is good, but let's see about the flags.
Dead ball foul. Illegal snap on the offense. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still 4th down.
So they'll back up 5 yards, and he'll try it again.
You know, partner, the way the game has changed, and they certainly give the offense every advantage now in college football with the linemen able to use their hands and the passing game as it is. I can't remember the last time we had a low-scoring game like this with 8:40 to go in the half, 3-2.
Now they're going to spot the ball at the 16, makes it a 26-yard field goal try for Anderson. The holder is Pickett. Everything works. That is good. At 8 minutes and 24 seconds to go in the first half, the Huskies on 2 field goals lead Michigan 6-2. The defenses are controlling this football game. The offenses are putting some numbers up, but when they get down into the crunch area, they're not delivering it so far. 6-2. 2 field goals over a safety. And Washington will kick off. Anderson will kick from the 35 with Charles Drake and Todd Howard waiting for it. They're standing on the 20. The secondary group of receivers, but he's again got it deep. And it's way back in the end zone. You shouldn't bring that out, because when you're 5 yards or more in the end zone, your chances of getting to the 20 are pretty slim. The answer to the Aflac trivia question is this. Which head coach had the best record in the Michigan-Washington series? It was Don James. Don James, 4-2. Those 4 wins against Michigan in the Rose Bowl. If you're going to win, that ain't a bad place. So the Huskies set the defensive unit, and here come the Wolverines, who have not had a good offensive series now. The last 2 have been particularly sloppy. This time they go back to the run. Stan Parrish is looking for some kind of a combination to move the ball. Stan, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach, former head coach, both these staffs have a lot of experience on them. That gain will go up to the 25.
Michigan's got to get things in gear. Navarre's got to straighten up here. He's only 3 of 9, 28 yards. He's thrown an interception. The defense is getting after him pretty good. They really haven't gotten in sync. Doesn't look like a typical Michigan offense yet.
2nd down and 5. Chris Perry is deep. Oh, hit behind the line of scrimmage. I mean, he is just flat nailed by Jamon Willis on a blitz.
Boy, Willis and Madabi getting after some folks, comes through untouched. They line the linebacker up on the line of scrimmage. They never saw him or accounted for him. He comes through from the pulling guard who pulled out of there. That was left vacant. He came through it and made a terrific hit.
So Tim Hundley, the defensive coordinator for Washington, answering, and he brings up now a 3rd down and 9 as Navarre sets to throw. Throws, and it is caught by Marquise Walker. Navarre took a pounding after the throw, or as he threw, but he did get it to his man.
I'll tell you something. That is the first catch by Walker, but what a sensational play by Navarre. We just told you about his numbers. We weren't very good to that point, 3 of 9. But this time, even though he's going to get hit, he knows he's going to get hit. He sees it coming. He delivers a strike to Walker. Boy, he waited in the pocket as long as he possibly could. He sees him coming. Here he comes, peripheral vision, right side, knows he's going to get hit, and still stays in and steps up and delivers a strike.
Anthony Kelly made the hit. They go back to the running play. And running out of a would-be tackler's arms is Chris Perry, and gets something out of it. He picks up a couple of yards on the play.
Take a look at the Pacific Life game summary, and we'll show you Navarre's been taking some lickings. Here it comes from Willis. Then they run the safety blitz. Now they bring it off the edge, and here comes Triplett. He's getting pounded. He's taking hits, and even though he's getting rid of the ball a lot of the times, that's the kind of thing that'll wear you down for the 3rd and 4th quarter.
2nd down and 8. Navarre back. in the shotgun. Hands it off to Perry. Breaks a hole over the right side and is on first down right about the 46-yard line. It's close. Jimmy Newell made the tackle for the Huskies. They'll give him the first down.
And it's that kind of play that'll start to build the confidence of the young offensive linemen. You know, you talked about how it's all rebuilt, Keith. You look at this, you see Hutchinson, Brandt, Williams, Backus. These guys are all NFL players now, and I mean doing well in the pros. So now you've got Pape and Goodwin and Perzulio and Solomon stepping in trying to take their place, and it's a learning process. They've got to find their sea legs out here.
First down from the 46. Back to Perry. And Perry runs into Jimmy Newell, number 26.
Now that offensive line's starting to fire off. Just watch the white jerseys. Hold them off, then just open and sealing. That's called sealing your block, and the ball carrier right off the hip pocket makes it pay. Now, I was talking to John Jansen. Keith, you remember John. He's playing with the Redskins now. He was here just a couple of years ago with Michigan. He thinks Tony Pape is going to be a huge star.
This is the 13th carry of the first half for Chris Perry, and he's got about 43 yards on those carries. Kai Ellis gets his second tackle of the ball game. They called him the Creature, and he had a terrific camp this fall.
Look to the left of the screen, and you see here he comes off the edge. They call him the Creature, as you mentioned, just a leverage guy. Comes off that edge, and he just stays inside out, does everything technically sound, and he loves to hit.
Petruzzello has come off the field for Michigan. A penalty flag is thrown. And Joe Dene has gone in to replace Dave as he came limping off the field.
Dead ball foul. Illegal substitution on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still third down.
Third down for Michigan with 4:29 to go in the first half. Washington leading in the ball game 6-2. You're right, it does sound funny. Tim, 6-2.
Navarre started in the first 4 games last year, led the nation in pass efficiency after 2 games. Really struggled against UCLA. Struggled with both games on the road. Last week got off to a pretty good start, but looks a little rocky right here.
On third down after the 5-yard penalty, they need 8 yards. Throwing quickly to the sideline. It is caught by Marquise Walker, and he's going to have the first down and then some for Michigan down on the Washington 38. Walker's tough to handle.
He sure is, and I'm surprised they haven't gotten the ball to him more often. That's his second catch, Keith. They've got to start looking for him. He's dangerous. He's tall. He's working against shorter corners. Here he's working against a young cornerback who overcommits. You can see that Massey now just turns it up, and Walker goes around him. I mean, this is just tremendous balance. Gets every yard he possibly can out of it. You've got to get the ball in his hands.
Perry caught behind the line of scrimmage and rolled out. First man to get in there was Javon Willis. He got a hand around his leg, and that was enough till help came. Look at that, 70 points by Georgia Tech. There's that UCLA-Kansas score that we were talking about earlier. Ohio State opening, that's their opening game against Akron.
How about Fresno State?
Fresno State remains the story of the year in college football. Second down, 11. Navarre's pass is away, hit as he throws, and it's incomplete. The man who hit it was Ben Madabi, linebacker for the Huskies.
We just made the point that he's taking hits. The offensive line has to shut that gate because people are coming free. Madabi again cheats up into the line. They don't account for him. He comes through untouched. There's 41, Madabi, and just nobody got a hand on him. And Navarre's got to have a talk with these guys, and so does Stan Parrish and Lloyd Carr.
Well, you had Joe Dene in there at that tackle position, replacing the guard position, replacing Petruzzello. That may have something to do with that.
Well, give Tim Hundley, the defensive coordinator, a lot of credit because he's stemming guys, moving them around, shooting gaps.
He saw the hole. Yep. That's the new man. 3rd and 11. Navarre's pass, no good. Too high. Intended again for Walker, and he threw that ball into double coverage. So that'll bring up a 4th down.
You know, when you're getting hit all the time, Keith, you start to release a little bit early, maybe a little bit high instead of following through, not stepping into it all the way.
And as the day goes on, you have a little trouble walking back to the bench.
Sure. It's like
he's been pounded.
Like a golfer, when he's struggling a little bit, then starts to guide it. You can't do that. You just got to let it go.
Here's Hayden Epstein for his first field goal try of the day. He's got a big leg. He also does the punting, as you know. His longest field goal, 56. Now we're going to get a timeout called by Michigan. I'm not sure they had the right people on the field.
They didn't have enough people on the field. I mean, Washington's tough enough. Trying to play them with 10, that's not good.
A moment now with John.
He's alongside Terry Bowden to let you know coming up on the Valvoline halftime show. More with Regis Philbin and Bob Davie. Also, Fresno State, a winner today at Wisconsin.
They've had 3 big wins over the Big 12, Pac-10, Big 10. Not one has been an upset, and there's not a team left on their schedule as good as the 3 they beat.
The good news is, for them, 3 are down, but they still have 10 games left on their schedule. Keith.
10. Well, this is one of those years where you have 12 Saturdays, right? So you can play that extra game if you choose. And then you also play that early season game in one of those charity games, and you get to play an extra one.
Well, and you take a team like Nebraska that has that championship game. All right, they could play 14 games if they go all the way to the national championship. But you watch everybody now start to jump on Fresno State's bandwagon.
Oh, yeah.
People get seasick jumping on and off the bandwagon, but right now Fresno State's the hot team.
Well, I like that quarterback. David Carr, he's been a pretty good quarterback for some time.
They had to show you something today when they were down 20-10 on the road, came back and won big.
Yeah, that's the penalty, I guess, of being on the West Coast, you know. Time zone, and I got to go for the field goal. They're going to go ahead and punt the ball. So it'll be the 5th punt of the ball game for Hayden. And he's trying to kill it deep, and he gets a floater that's caught, fair caught, at the 14-yard line. And now we've got the penalty flags flipped out on the other side. Personal foul is called against the Huskies.
Yeah, it was Kai Ellis, who's new out of the junior college, and Larry Triplett, the time-tested veteran and captain, he pulled him over and he had a word with him.
An old friend of ours left us this past month, who's quite a man about this campus and about this university, and this was his home as much as anything. He was an oarsman. He was the coach of the oarsmen, and this group right here in the middle of the picture, among those who went off to the Soviet Union in 1958, with that wonderful story that happened there. Dick Erickson had a heart attack and died in his middle 60s, hale and hearty, and he touched so many lives, and so many people loved him. He was the manager of the facilities here at the University of Washington in the later years, and was our great friend and tremendous help to all of us who passed through here on occasion. Terrific man, Dick Erickson. From the 8-yard line, after the penalty, Willie Hurst is decked at the 6-yard line. So Michigan's defense trying to pin them deep and get field position and produce something before they go to the clubhouse for halftime.
And you can take it to the bank that Jim Herman and Lloyd Carr told that defense exactly that. Under 3 minutes to play in the half. Pin them back here. Give the offense good field position. We'll have a chance to take the lead going in at halftime on the road against Washington. But they've got to defensively stop Washington down here.
That's the 6th time Michigan has produced a tackle for a loss, and the Wolverines have called a timeout now to talk. So while we're waiting, let's spend another moment with John.
All right, Keith, thanks a lot. Auburn in action this afternoon against Ole Miss. Cassidius Moore barely gets touched. right through the secondary into the end zone for the touchdown. Auburn has a couple field goals as well in a 13-0 lead. Keith.
All right. Looks like young Eli is, they're getting after him pretty good.
A lot of time left to be played.
The balance of power in the Pac-10 may be shifting a little bit, and there's very definitely a reason for it. One, the Northwest universities are located in some very nice cities, for one thing. But the other thing are the facilities. The Dempsey Indoor Facility for football and for other things is just opened here at the University of Washington. Full-size field. You got 66 feet to punt the ball in. And it's an asset that is tremendous. Oregon has one. Oregon State has just opened one, and Washington State is building one. So it's a little easier sell to come to cool and sometimes rainy country. Here's 2nd down and 11 coming up now as Cody Pickett steps out of his end zone and comes up across the 5 to about the 7-yard line. He pulled it down in a hurry because the Wolverines had read it, and Larry Stevens is about to eat him up. So we're now at 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first half and counting.
And the defense is really stepping up. That's the 7th tackle for a loss here in the first half by Michigan. 5 of those by the linebacker, Larry Foote. But they've got to come up big here on 3rd. They've got to stay aggressive. It's 3rd down and more than 10. Wouldn't be surprised to see Michigan bring a blitz here.
Would you be surprised to see Washington throw?
I'll tell you, I'd be looking at the top of that screen at number 1, Reggie Williams.
Well, they run a little draw action up the middle, and there's not much to it, as Willie Hurst is stopped right about the 8-yard line, and now Michigan will spend another timeout. They've got 1 remaining. Oh, that's the last one. That's the last one.
So Rick Neuheisel wanted to be, and I think very wisely so, be conservative. Don't throw a pick down here that can change it. Try to punt it out of there.
So when we come back, we'll have 2 minutes and 5 seconds for Michigan's possession of the ball with Washington punting out of the end zone.
I hate grapes. Green and purple and seedless. Sure, they taste great. But on a supermarket floor, they can make for nasty slips and falls.
Hi, I'm Al Mangoni, a safety specialist with Liberty Mutual Insurance. There's no reason the supermarket floor should ever be a dangerous place. So we're working on non-slip flooring and other materials to keep you safe.
Liberty Mutual. It's more than insurance. It's insurance in action.
I also hate bananas.
Not a cloud. Temperature in the high 70s today, and the shadows creep across the field, which keeps it relatively comfortable for the players. Emmy, it's a tough call. It looks to me like. How would you like to open your football season with Michigan? Bo Schembechler used to just foam at the mouth when he had to open the season with Notre Dame. But he reconciled the problem by saying, well, we're going to find out early what we've got. Well, this BCS thing is sort of making some changes in that, even though the bonus point thing for playing quality people has been applied. Here's your punt out of the end zone. McLaughlin gets it upfield. Michigan's going to return it. And it is Julius Purry with another fine effort as he takes it down to the Washington 32-yard line.
Boy, they got a lot of pressure again on McLaughlin. You remember he had that one blocked earlier by Walker, and Walker this time didn't come free, but he pushed his guy almost back to the punter and caused a shaky punt that gave him a good return.
33 yards on the punt. He got very little elevation on it. 9-yard return, and Michigan has it first down at the Washington 32.
Marquise Walker making his big plays on special teams today.
Yep. 1:52 to go in the first half. Wolverines out of timeout. Petrozelli's back in there at the guard position. Navarre rolling out and throws back. Complete. Pass caught by Japrou, tight end. And Benny Japrou is inside the 20 at the 17. First down, Michigan. Omari Lowe is the man who saved the touchdown.
Keith, early in the ball game, we said this is a tight end team. They start with a tight end. They drag him all the way across the field. And there he is. That is a tough play to defend because you've got to locate him early. He comes all the way across. They hit him, and Japru, I thought was going to bounce out of bounds, but didn't.
Navarre back on first down. Goes back to the left side. Marquise Walker. Tackle comes from Omari Lowe. Cornerback on that side.
Still don't have to hurry too much. 1:25 left in the half. You don't want to give Washington much time back on the clock. Just be efficient down here.
Second down and 6. From the 12. Out of the shotgun. Navarre throws it hard to the sideline. Marquise Walker again, and he's going to be short of the first down. Not by much, but a little bit.
They kept him in bounds. We're under a minute. 55 seconds to go.
3rd and 1.
Very wisely, Michigan calls for a measurement, which will stop the clock at 50 seconds. And with no timeouts left, that's a brilliant call by Marquise Walker, the player who said, hey, wait a minute, we're close, we want a measurement. So bring the chains all the way across the field.
Well, somebody on the sideline probably reminding him of too.
See if Marquise got out of bounds, see if he got the first down. Obviously way short of that marker, but of course that's not the official mark that the chains are. So it'll be closer than that, but he won't have it.
Well, the football savvy crowd hooting at him a little bit for the call, but as Tim said, smart call.
I'll tell you what, that crowd has to appreciate that. That's brilliant by Marquise, and now they've got time to make a call, get up to the line of scrimmage. The clock is stopped at 50 seconds.
It is 3rd down and 1. Ball is right about the 7-yard line.
Keep in mind, with the first down, the clock will stop again.
Crowd coming up trying to help the defense. Now they wind it.
Tony Pate jumped too soon. It's against Michigan.
Crowd got him. The crowd helping the circumstance, and they got the movement in the offensive line, and it'll cost them 5.
Before the snap, full start offense. 5 yards previous spot. Still 3rd down.
Boy, you're trying so hard. Watch this, right? See him move? He's listening for the count. He's got to watch the football when the crowd gets that loud. Washington's got to be thinking tight end, which is Seymour, or Walker, which is Ford.
They got 3 wideouts at the top of the picture. Crowd getting into it, and here comes the linesman running in from the sidelines to stop the play. And the Huskies now have called a timeout.
Number 2.
I think they were a little bit confused. You mentioned the trips, the 3 receivers, and they didn't have the right defense, and one guy was uncovered.
So you've got 36 seconds. Well, this last minute and a half has been pretty dramatic. So Michigan trying to get it in the end zone. No touchdown so far in the ball game. 2 field goals for the Huskies and a safety by Michigan. The Wolverines certainly in a position here to pull within 1 with Epstein's ability as the place kicker, but they'd much rather have a touchdown.
The key's that first down, Keith. 36 seconds to play. That's a good 3 or 4 plays if they get the first down.
Washington with 1 timeout remaining. And I don't know who called that one, but again, somebody was very quick to see, hey, we're wrong. We don't have the right folks in the right alignment. So
we're seeing some really smart football here. Yep. We saw Marquise Walker call for the change to stop the clock, and then on defense they called a timeout because one man was uncovered.
All right, here we go again. You've got the same formation for Michigan, and Navarre looking that way, throws that way, pass caught by Marquise Walker, taken down at the 5-yard line, but he's got a first down. 30 seconds to go.
Same formation. Walker came free, got the first, and now they stop the clock with 30. Michigan does not have to be in that big of a hurry right here. Here's Marquise Walker, top of the screen. 2 guys go long. He pulls up under, little hitch. He's got the first.
Spike. Clock shows 27 seconds remaining. Todd Harris is here.
Well, Keith, Lloyd Carr says Husky Nation is the loudest. He says he's been in some extremely loud arenas before, especially in the Big Ten, but for his money, nothing is as loud as a sold-out Husky Stadium. He says the only way to control it is to get ahead, which they're trying to do right now. So John Falk, the equipment manager, all week long has been piping in music to practice, and one of Coach Carr's favorites, YMCA, has been played very loud. This place has got as loud as 135 decibels, and I can tell you what, the Village people can never get that loud.
Well, the whole stadium's rocking.
I don't know. I still think Oregon's louder. They're running a decibel count. Michigan's schedule, they go home to Western Michigan, and that won't necessarily be easy. Mike DeBoard, who was an offensive coordinator for Lloyd Carr at Michigan, he went up to Central Michigan and suffered last year, but I saw that he won his first game. So Mike did well to get it going the right way. Then comes conference play, and they open with Illinois. On the 5-yard line. Second down and goal.
Those people are outnumbered.
Navarre throws, lofts it up, incomplete for Walker. Marquise Walker goes for a jump ball against Omari Lowe and could not come down with it.
Marquise 6'3", Omari Lowe just over 6 feet. They were going for that mismatch. You called it a jump ball, and they were banking on Walker getting up and getting it. Look at this. The only problem is he had to wait for it, and it gave Lowe time to come over. No face guarding in college football. He doesn't have to look back. As soon as Walker locates it, he reads. Omari Lowe reads his eyes and goes up without looking back and knocks it away.
Third down and goal from the 5, 22 seconds. Navarre's pass, touchdown, Walker.
How sweet was that, Keith? He gave him the in move on the slant and then turned it back outside, and Lowe couldn't adjust.
So Michigan has taken the lead for the second time. And they'll kick for the point.
Say what you will about Navarre, but he sure led a nice drive there.
Great clock management, I thought, in that possession. Epstein for the point to make it a 3-point lead. It's good. 17 ticks remaining on the clock.
Well, it took a while for them to start going to Walker, but watch this move. Number 4 takes him inside like it's a slant. Stop, plant, go back outside. Lowe can't adjust, and the ball's waiting for him when he gets out. That is so sweet. Wow, and look at Navarre. Yes, sir.
Walker on that possession, 4 catches, 22 yards, including the touchdown.
And did not have one in the first quarter.
Now the question is what the Huskies, they're going to obviously put their burners out there and hope somebody can get the right block at the right place. There isn't much time, only 17 seconds remaining, and Michigan leading 9-6. Tonight, 8 o'clock, 5 o'clock Pacific time, one of the premier ball games of the season, I think, right there. Notre Dame starting their season at Lincoln, Nebraska.
Well, it's a premier game in that we'll find out a lot about both clubs here early in the season. We've seen Nebraska. They haven't really been overpowering. And then Notre Dame, of course, this is, Davey said this is the best talent he's had at Notre Dame. We'll find out.
Mark Amento reminding us this is the first time Notre Dame has been to Lincoln, Nebraska since 1948. And that was a pretty good busload of horses that went in 48. That was Leon Hart and that bunch. Whew. I'd lock the barn and leave town. Those guys coming.
You don't want this ball to hit the ground if at all possible. If he kicks it up, he doesn't squib it. Then you don't want any penalties. No blocks in the back.
Cody Pickett warming up on the sidelines. He's going to get 1 or 2 snaps. They keep it on the ground. Finally, somebody picks it up all the way. It's Paul Arnold. He's the burner. But Arnold can't get anything untracked, and he'll go down up around the 29-yard line, and that's where Washington will possess the ball. 11 seconds to play. Well, if you got a track team, this is where you want to show them off. And especially if you got some that can catch it.
You know, I've never been a big believer in that squib kick. I mean, first of all, the return guy was at the 10, where you could probably get it over his head to the end zone. You squib it, they were expecting it, and they get good field position at it, almost to the 30.
They're going to run out the clock.
There's no question to get to the house. Just take a knee.
Yep. All right. Interesting first half of play. At halftime in Seattle, it is Michigan 9 and Washington 6. So I think we'll have some fun in the second half. Right now, we're off to John Saunders and Terry Bowden at Times Square Stadium.
All right, Keith, thanks a lot. So we do have the low-scoring affair, and a couple reasons why. Marcus Tuiasosopo, he's in the NFL. Drew Henson is playing baseball. Young quarterbacks trying to get their offenses going.
Young quarterbacks, strong defenses. Coaches don't want to put their quarterbacks at risk. Second half, somebody's going to step out there and make a big play on offense, though.
When we come back, we'll have scores and highlights plus Regis Philbin with Bob Davie, the head coach of Notre Dame, after this message and a word from our ABC stations.
Valvoline Halftime Show, brought to you by Valvoline's Max Life, the first motor oil formulated for higher mileage engines. From Times Square in New York, John Saunders and Terry Bowden.
As usual, very busy afternoon here in Times Square as Michigan has a 9-6 lead over Washington. Let's talk about Fresno State. Consider this. They've already beaten Colorado, Oregon State, but because they played on Sunday last week, they're unranked in the coaches poll going on the road to face Wisconsin, looking for 3-0 and perhaps a chance to run the table because the table gets easier after this week. Jim Sorgi here, 53 yards to Lee Evans, and Wisconsin grabs a 14-7 lead. But at the start of the second half, Terry, this is Bernard Berrien with a touchdown run, 96 yards.
Get over 300 yards of total offense. But this team is not upsetting teams. They're better than Oregon State. They're better than Wisconsin. They've had over 6 drives on offense this year, over 60 yards.
They went for the 2-point conversion. It got it to go to 20-18. And then just minutes later, David Carr, 16 yards to Rodney Wright, also a 2-point conversion. They score 16 points in about 2.5 minutes to win 32-20.
And then their defense takes over. This physical defense looks like a Big Ten defense.
David Carr, you see his numbers, perhaps the #1 quarterback in the country. If you listen to his head coach, Pat Hill, not surprised at his team's success.
We've been playing these kind of games since we got there in 1997. You know, we took our lumps early in our career. This year is our first group of seniors. We're a football program that's on the rise, and I think the future is very bright for Fresno State.
And he has said he wanted to do it. He patterned this Fresno State program after your dad. When he got to Florida State, he says we'll play anybody, anywhere, and they're doing that.
King of the road. They went on the road and played great teams on the road. When you don't have the big name nationally like Florida State didn't have back in the early 80s, you've got to go to other people's place and beat them on the road. Fresno State has done it.
FSU in the East, FSU out West. All right, Miami facing Rutgers. And for Miami, they had to delay the start of this game because of lightning. Ken Dorsey, he's looked as poised as any quarterback thus far this year. Andre Johnson, 40 yards in the touchdown.
Yeah, they're not going to delay the loss for Rutgers. But Greg Schiano, the head coach for Rutgers, was the defensive coordinator at Miami. He'll know the ins and outs of this Miami team. Can make this game close, but I don't think he can stop the eventual outcome.
Maybe some help from the weather will keep the score down as well. North Carolina against Texas. You saw this one earlier here today on ABC. Texas coming out, and they didn't come out that strong, although Ronald Curry here was picked off by Corey Redding, who takes it 22 yards for the touchdown. It looked like it was going to be a romp early, but it went to late before they got the romp going. Brett Robin here, 12 yards on the touchdown run. And Terry, this gets them to 44 points. The players go over to the head coach, Mac Brown, says in honor of their fallen teammate, Cole Pittman, who died in a crash in a car wreck, they're going to stay on 44 and get the 44-14 win. There's the numbers for Chris
Great
Sims.
gesture by those players. But you know what? People say this wasn't a very impressive win, but remember, Texas won this game by 30. Oklahoma only beat North Carolina by 14.
Yeah, the question, though, is Chris Sims, they get a big win in this, but his numbers were not that impressive. Now, if you're Mac Brown, do you look at the W and say we won, or do you consider major?
Well, no, you look at the W and you say we got the win, that's what we want. We got the win, but Chris Sims still has to play better. You know, he's got Major Applewhite sitting on the bench. Major Applewhite is an outstanding player. He can't just play good, he's got to play great. But he doesn't need to play best until they play Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout.
The question is that best today, is that good enough against some of the other teams on the schedule? Utah against Oregon. Oregon pulled one out against Wisconsin last week. A little trickery here. Harrington, Paris Warren goes to Justin Peel. The big guy takes it down at the 13-yard line, and that sets up a touchdown. And right now, Oregon with a 16-10 lead.
Oregon's defense is what concerns me. Last week, being able to stop the passing game, and again today, they're still not strong enough stopping the other team's passing games like we saw last week against Wisconsin. And again, right now, giving up 10 points against Utah in the first half.
Western Michigan, Virginia Tech. Wayne Ward comes in and blocks the punt. Willie Miller recovers it for Virginia Tech. It sets up a touchdown 2 plays later. And Virginia Tech really didn't have many problems in this game. Keith Burnell replacing the injured Lee Suggs. 11 yards on the touchdown run, and the romp was on. Western Michigan is shut out 31-0 was the final. Grant Knoll, 13 of 25, 144 yards, and a touchdown pass as well. You see the numbers for Burnell at 74 yards. Georgia Tech against Navy. George Godsey looking good again. 66 yards. Worst loss in Navy history.
I tell you, Georgia Tech's making a statement here. They have gotten better every week. We found out Syracuse a little bit better than we thought, and now they're playing incredibly good football. I don't care if it was Navy. You score 70 points, you're getting ready for Florida State next week.
Look at the numbers on Godsey. He only had to throw the ball 9 times in the game, still got 158 yards. Alabama coming off the loss at home to UCLA. Dennis Francione facing Vanderbilt. And this is one that can get the faithful angry early. Hunter Hillenmay, but the sack on Tyler Watts, and the game is tied at 6. And here's Alabama with a lead, and Chuck Foligno with a chance to tie the game, perhaps send it to overtime. And once again, Alabama beats Vanderbilt, but it was an extremely tough game. Right now, we got a close one between Washington and Michigan. John Navarre, 5 yards to Marquise Walker here. The difference, 9-6. From Times Square, this is the Valvoline Halftime Show. John Saunders alongside Terry Bowden. We begin by talking about your brother, Tommy Bowden. Last week, Clemson opened against Central Florida. That's scary enough. Today against Wofford, team they hadn't played since '81 when they last won the national championship. Key stats for Wofford, 1,100 students, but their average SAT is 1,200.
1AA Wofford runs the wishbone option. Clemson never quite figured it out. 276 yards rushing. Thank goodness Clemson plays nobody else that runs the wingbone option.
Woody Dancer with a big day, 28 unanswered points to wrap up the game. UCLA, a couple of impressive wins on the road to start the season. Last week against Alabama, today against Kansas.
A lot of people thought they would overlook Kansas with Arizona State next, but Deshaun Foster showed up on time, 179 yards rushing.
Jim Tressel making his debut as head coach of Ohio State. Steve Balisari, touchdown pass here. Little luck. He's going to need some of that during the season.
Not a real impressive opening for Ohio State. And Steve Balisari is still inconsistent. Although he had good numbers, still had 1 interception, 3 fumbles.
Kurt Kittner for Illinois. Big win against Cal last week. They barely survived Northern Illinois today.
Kurt Kittner needs to play better this year if they're going to have the kind of year in the Big Ten they want.
In Central Michigan at Michigan State, 35-21 the final. T.J. Duckett had a touchdown run and a bunch of yards.
290 yards passing, but 3 turnovers early made this game closer than it really was.
Delaware against Georgia Southern. Story here, Adrian Peterson, 6 yards on the touchdown run. It was 21-0. And then on this 3-yard run, he set an NCAA record for consecutive 100-yard games. 33 straight in the regular season, 45 straight if you include playoffs.
You know, of all the running backs I saw last year, this guy had to be one of the most exciting running backs in all levels of football.
All right, Georgia Southern with an easy win there. Stick around, and there is more to come on the Valvoline Halftime Show. From here, well, we're not in a big house, but this guy has his heart in the right place. Welcome back to Times Square Stadium. John Saunders alongside Terry Bowden. Earlier today, Notre Dame alum Regis Philbin sat down with head coach Bob Davie to discuss the season and tonight's game against Nebraska. Right now, more of that interview.
It was a great season you had going, and you discovered a quarterback who can throw and handle it, and you had a great time. And then all of a sudden came that Fiesta Bowl and that devastating loss to Oregon State. And what was that like?
Tough. To be honest, I'm kind of tired of talking about the Oregon State game and the Fiesta Bowl. And I realized for us to finally put that to rest, we need to have to go beat a big-time team like Nebraska. And in some ways, it's very difficult to open the season up playing on the road, playing against a football team that has 2 games, a football program that has the tradition of Nebraska. But the bottom line, Regis, after the way we performed in the Fiesta Bowl, this may be the best thing that ever happened to us. Because to put all that to rest, we have to go beat somebody that's significant.
What do you have to do to beat Nebraska?
First thing, you got to follow the plan. We cannot turn the football over. The second thing, we have to run the football. I know as much as you love to throw the ball, and you want it wide open, and you want footballs flying all across the stadium.
Yeah, that's what I want.
To win at Notre Dame, I hate to disappoint you, but we have to run the ball. Kicking game, we have to be outstanding, and we have to continue to improve on defense. So really, it doesn't matter who we play or where we play. For us to win, we have to follow that simple plan. But the great thing is we control that.
And here's what I like. I like being a 14-point underdog. Give me a 21-point underdog. I like that. I think that inspires
You're firing me up. Keep going.
You got it, okay?
Keep going.
Blitzing, crashing, craziness out there. All the way.
Regis,
Thanks,
thank
Bob.
you.
Thanks
Appreciate
very
it.
much. Good luck.
Thank you.
Regis Philbin really represents old school Notre Dame fans. They expect to win every close game. But, John, they're not going to do that in today's game. They're not going to beat Nebraska, I don't think, but they still can have a real good year.
Yeah, a lot of people questioning last year. Bob Davie had a chance to try and win in regulation. That one went to overtime, and they lost. Their special teams were great in that game. That's tonight in prime time at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Right now, let's take it back out to Keith Jackson.
The alumni band is performing at the University of Washington because the students don't come back to school till October. We are at 9-6, Michigan leading the Huskies by 3. And back after this message and a word from our ABC station. It is not many days during the football season in Seattle, Washington, that one can sit in his shirt sleeves. And so we have taken that social privilege to the full extent and relaxed on a warm, sunny day. It's unbelievable. But pretty good football game, Tim.
This is spectacular, Keith. You know, we said going in this was going to be a defensive battle, and it is. And everybody jokes about, well, it's a low-scoring game. It's 9-6. How exciting can it be? For me, that's heaven. I mean, this is old-time football. Guys are getting after it, a lot of hits. It's fun.
But there's some serious threats lingering around the edge, and in particular for Michigan, a guy like Marquise Walker, if John Navarre can get on target.
Well, you know, they didn't even look for him in the first half, so here he comes, the right side of your screen. Number 4 comes through cleanly. He blocks the punt. It goes out of the end zone for the safety. That's 2 points. Then 17 seconds left in the half. Quick in, back out. The pass is waiting for him, and he has accounted for all of Michigan's points. How about Navarre? Navarre, a shaky start, but he comes on strong. 10 of 13, and then 99 receptions now for the career for Walker. One more, he's got 100. They didn't look for him in the first quarter, but they got after him pretty good, and he's accounted for all the Michigan points.
On the other hand, Reggie Williams, a wideout for the Huskies, the true freshman, started out as being a big persona in the ball game, but the Michigan defense took him out. We haven't heard from him in quite some time now, and the pressure's gotten a little more intense for Cody Pickett. So we'll see how the young people do. They're the key as we go to the second half of play. And Epstein kicks it off for Michigan. Back in the end zone. Here comes Paul Arnold. Nope, not going to do it. Put a knee down. Washington on its 20. Here's Todd Harris talking to Lloyd Carr.
Coach, you knew it was going to be a defensive battle, didn't you?
Well, I didn't know it was going to be that much of a defensive battle, but that's what it's been.
It looks like the only major adjustments you really have to make as that offensive line is watching those safety blitzes.
Well, those safeties are coming down hard, and we haven't been able to, except for a couple times, hit the pass in behind them, and that's going to be key. It's awfully hard to run with 9 guys up there. But our tailbacks are doing a good job. I thought John Navarre settled down at the end of the second quarter, and hopefully he's going to have a good half.
Best luck in the second.
Thank you.
That obviously was recorded before the second half started. Now Washington comes to the attack, and Jeremy Stevens is on the field, and he is the biggest target out there for the Washington Huskies. Ball is carried here by Rich Alexis, the bigger of the tailbacks, and he splits in there for 5 yards. So It looks like they want to get the big boys in and do some hammering, and Stevens obviously is going to be very much involved in the offense.
Well, he sat out that first half because of the punishment for that incident last May. He comes in now, and he really is a difference maker. He's 6'7", 255 pounds, and he's a major part of the offense. When he's in there, Cody Pickett now starts looking for Stevens, and it makes Reggie Williams that much more effective at wideout.
Well, they run it with Alexis again, and he does not get back to the line of scrimmage. All manner of Wolverines were there, but it was number 17, Larry Foote, that led the charge for the white-shirted Wolverines.
Brings up what appears to be a passing down, and keep in mind, Pickett had a pretty good first half, 8 of 12, no interceptions, and he did not throw an interception all through the preseason, 5 scrimmages, and he wasn't even close to throwing one, and he hasn't thrown one here in the first half.
He's going to be tested right here because he's looking at 3rd down and 5. And the way Michigan's playing the Husky run game, I don't think that is a very good call at this juncture, so he's back to throw it. And lets it go, and he goes right to 14. Stevens, breaking tackles, goes all the way out to the 44-yard line and a first down.
Oh, he's a load, all world. I'm going to tell you something. He makes this offense so much better. Told you how big he is, 6'7", 255. Forgot to tell you how agile he is. Look at him get off the line cleanly. All right, now he finds his hook area. He looks for the ball, locates it. Now break the tackle. You don't wrap him. You don't take him down. And then he stiff arms. You think he wasn't upset that he had to sit out that first half? Look out. Jeremy Stevens is in the ball game, folks, and he's a difference maker.
That is the first 3rd down conversion for the Huskies today. That'll tell you something about his presence. Double wide, top of the picture. Pickett looks that way, throws that way. Incomplete. Intended for Elstrom and well defended by Jeremy LeSueur for Michigan.
Well, LeSueur was riding his back, and so this very educated football crowd wanted a flag thrown for pass interference.
LeSueur had 6 tackles against Miami of Ohio last week, so he's a very active DB.
Also had an interception. He's one of those guys. He sat out his freshman year with a torn ACL. Can't believe guys come back from that, but they do now with the modern medicine. He's playing well.
Elstrom to the top of the picture as we go to the side shot, and you'll have Reggie Williams down at the bottom on 2nd down and 10. That's Williams in the shadow. Pickett being chased. Passes away down the middle, and it is incomplete. Now, folks, that's a lick. He tried to force the ball down the middle to Stevens, and they were reading Stevens all the way, and he got a double blow.
I have to tell you something. He almost made this catch. They put him out as a wide receiver. Here he is, the most dangerous guy. Now watch, he'll come down, he'll look in. Here's the ball. Now watch, he almost makes this catch despite the hit. He has it until there, and then just lets it go. But you're right, he was punished, and really Cody Pickett led the defender to him.
Victor Hobson might have been a little early.
I think he was. Got away with one. Got away with 2 when you count LeSueur earlier.
Pickett throws that low, flat shot intended for Wilbur Hooks and misses with it. And just that quickly, the Michigan defenders have stopped Washington and forced them into a 4th and 10 and a punt coming up.
So you got a little excitement with Stevens in the ball game, and he made that catch, but then they've got to punt it away.
Now Michigan's defense has made its statement. It'll be up to Washington's defense to make one of its own as the Wolverines go to the offense for the first time. This is McLaughlin punting. Kick is away. It's a beauty. And it is downtown, 5-yard line for Curry. He may have overkicked his coverage as Curry comes all the way out to the 35-yard line. Anthony Kelly finally took his legs away. Morgan Stanley, well-connected storyline. Tim?
Well, I mean, if you look at what's taken place so far, Michigan, of course, they got Navarre warmed up. He went 10 for 19, 94 yards, but he had that early interception, and that cost him. Now, Stevens, he was suspended in the first half. He comes in and makes a play. Pickett settled down 9 for 16. It's his first start ever, 107 yards. I mean, this is a pretty good ball game, but very much like we anticipated, all defense.
And so far without a touchdown. This is Chris Perry. Running wide, running wide, running wide, and finally run down by Owen Biddle.
Biddle's one of those guys that has pretty good speed. If you watch your upper left up here, here he is. He'll come over here and he'll make the play. They try to break it outside. Keep an eye on him. Inside out, inside out, inside out. Don't let him cut back inside. Take the stiff arm and use that as the leverage to pull him down with. Nicely done.
2nd down and 8. Seymour, tight end, the man in motion. Ball is handed off to the tailback, Perry. And he's got about 3. Just starting the 3rd quarter of play at Husky Stadium in Seattle. Here comes Ron Bellamy into the ball game for the Wolverines now. And he replaces the fullback, Dave Armstrong. Michigan has at times already shown us a lineup with nobody in the backfield. This time they'll keep Perry back there by himself. Navarre looking, throwing. Pass is completed to Japrou. And Japrou, the tight end, makes the catch and picks up the 1st down at the 47-yard line of Michigan.
Keith, everything was perfect that time for Michigan. They kept Triplett out off their quarterback, Navarre. The offensive line gave him time to throw. They used their wide receiver to clear the area. That was Marquise Walker, who's getting all the attention so that the tight end could slip under. Good protection. Here comes your tight end under Walker, who had taken all the defenders with him wide and long, and you make the play.
1st down, Wolverines. Bellamy's the man in motion. They run it. And Perry is taken down at about the 45-yard line, maybe the 46.
Washington's defense is one of those defenses that just runs to the football. It's got terrific quicks, a lot of speed, and everybody, including the down linemen, and they always have 2 or 3 guys around the ball carrier. Now the safeties have to recognize the formation, make the calls. They've been able to do that because Michigan's tendencies in certain formations, and the Huskies know them. They key on the recognition.
Dene is in there, and the offensive line looking at Triplett, and with help handled him all right. That pass goes sailing over the head of Marquise Walker. It may have been a good thing, too, because he was double covered.
And Triplett was double teamed. Watch the big guy. Here he is, 6'1", 295. All-American, all-conference. They double him up, they fight him, they end with 1, and by that time the ball is released. They also brought the blitz, and it was picked up nicely by B.J. Askew, so they gave Navarre time.
With Perry coming back healthy, that means Askew is going to be primarily, I suppose, a fullback. Oh, he played tailback last week, and now he's outside as a wideout.
At 94 yards last week as a tailback.
The pass. Oh, that's a lick, but then Walker just shakes it off and gets away. Marquise Walker having a game of his life. And that's very close to a 1st down. Omari Lowe came in and gave him his best shoulder, and he shook it off.
Askew threw another good block right at the last second for Navarre, but what a play and what an effort by Walker. Marquise Walker, very top of your screen. Drive him off and stop. Wait for the ball. Now watch this. Make him miss. Little jingle joints here. Gives him a limp leg. Looked like his knee touched, but he stayed up. Boy, that's a super effort to get the 1st and move the chains.
So the Wolverine offense now trying to say something as we're in their 1st possession of the 2nd half. In a 9-6 ball game, Michigan leading on a field goal that closed the 1st half of play.
Marquise Walker averaged 14 yards a catch last year. Leading returning receiver, 49 catches. He comes in here, did not have a catch in the 1st quarter. Now they realize, hey, I forgot. Hey, Keith, we're coming to you, partner.
Askew and B.J. gets on around the corner. Omari Lowe's getting a lot of action. We're off to Times Square Stadium. Here's John.
Keith, for the Coors Light update, Rutgers at Miami. Late start because of lightning. Najee Davenport from 4 yards out, 14-0 lead. And don't forget, next week, the Washington team you're watching will be at Miami. Miami looking for revenge, the only blemish on their season a year ago. Keith.
Well, they've seen the Huskies before. Washington's the one who broke Miami's 58-game home win streak down there. Don James' coach. This is Askew again. He's a big, thick-legged fellow who just tramples along and keeps running over people until he's got a Michigan 1st down. So Michigan muscle right now moving the football. First down just short of the 30-yard line on the Washington side of the field.
And it's almost as if Lloyd Carr said, hey, look, you know, we went 5 wides. We did all that stuff in the first half. Let's go back to Michigan football and just bang them. And B.J. Askew, 6'3", 230 pounds, just stayed low and just got that first.
Tim Hundley may have to gamble here with his defense. The ball is pitched, going to run a reverse, going to double reverse it. This is Walker. And he's got a block on the corner that got him down for the first down.
You know, normally they tell you don't run a double reverse because it takes so long and teams aren't that quick defensively, so guys don't even have time to run themselves out. But this is a quick defense. So they go that way. Just watch the purple jerseys. Now they come back, and there comes Walker, and he picks up a wall. He's yelling at guys to get some blocks.
Well, 71, Kurt Anderson, the center, gave him a beauty, and that got him about 8 yards as he turned the corner. Walker now, 7 catches, 64 yards and a touchdown, and 13 yards on a reverse. Navarre gives the ball to Askew. And B.J. will punch it on down close to the 15.
Askew's become a huge part of this offense. They've used him, as you said, at fullback. They've used him at tailback. They've used him on the corner as like a little wing. They move him around, and they try to get him involved as a blocker and a ball carrier.
He gained a couple of yards on the carry, make it 2nd down and 8 at the 15-yard line on the Washington side. Huskies trying to hunker down here and keep the Wolverines out of the end zone. Walker now goes way wide. That puts him out there one-on-one with Lowe. Single coverage on Walker. Navarre looks this way, comes this way, throws a hard flat pass. That is caught by Joprue for a short game. A moment with Todd.
Well, Keith, Michigan's doing a great job on this drive, and they're doing it without one of their big uglies. Number 76, Dan Petruzziello. He is not in right now. Had an ankle injury he sustained before the first half. They took him in a little bit early, retaped, as they said he's still going to be able to play, but he is sitting this series out. Keith.
Thank you.
Last couple of years, Michigan this offense was driven by the all-time leader, Anthony Thomas. They want Askew to take that role now.
14-yard line. Navarre looking left. Larry Triplett. If you hold it that long, that close to the line of scrimmage, the chances are that Mr. Triplett is going to greet you.
Yeah, he's big time. He'll be a terrific pro as well. He's more comfortable at the nose, right there over the center. And they'll move him over sometimes to tackle. But here he is in his most comfortable spot, right on the shoulder of the center and working against the guard. That's where he likes to fight and feels like he's stronger there. He feels more comfortable there. He just goes right through Goodwin and gets the sack.
A 38-yard field goal try now on 4th and 14 by Hayden Epstein. Big leg. And he's got it. So we still don't have a touchdown in this football game as the Michigan Wolverines lead the Washington Huskies by a score of 12-6. Well, I will admit to you that I do know that Michigan has had a touchdown today, but it just happens so infrequently I don't remember it. 12-6 the score. And it's way back there, so no return on this one. They'll come out to the 20-yard line where Washington will have its second possession of the second half. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Chevy Trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. Original Coors, nothing beats an original. Capital One, what is in your wallet? And BF Goodrich Tires, take control. Well, Michigan let them get out across the 40 the last time and then stopped them. Let's see what happens here. Wolverines in their first possession of the second half got a three-pointer out of it. That ball's thrown to Reggie Williams. He's a burner. Lost his shoe and out of bounds at the 6-yard line. Run down by Julius Curry. 1
Keith, I know you got after me in the first half, giving him too many accolades, but I'm telling you, this kid is special. They only come along once so often with that kind of talent. And this wasn't even a complicated, fancy play. They just let him go one-on-one, and they put the ball high and let him go get it. Watch this. First of all, Pickett just puts a lot of air under it and loops it in there, but look at his athletic ability to go over the top and make the catch.
He beat Todd Howard on that play as they run it to the right. Pickett keeps it, jumps over one man, will get down to about the 6-yard line. They had marked him out at, I guess, closer to the 7, so there's about a yard for Pickett.
I've got to tell you something, Keith. Reggie Williams, he had butterflies early. The day started slowly. Here he hit it on his hands. He couldn't bring it in. But then he started to get adjusted, get more comfortable, use his athletic ability, and he started picking Michigan apart. Now here in the second half, this Reggie Williams, 6'4", 215-pounder, is feeling it.
Pickett swings it out here to Alexis.
That's a fumble.
No, it was far enough forward.
Oh, baby.
It was just barely forward.
I will go along with that.
Linesman called it immediately, so he was standing there looking at the ball. It was close.
It was close. All right, he's releasing it forward. You see, yeah, there's no question about it, at least from that angle.
Well,
but you see Michigan well-trained. They're getting on that football.
You bet. I got Washington's down to one play to try to do something. Otherwise, they'll have to settle for 3.
I'd look for number 1 again.
3rd down. Yeah. It's Jake Freisinger from Grosse Isle, Michigan. Big old senior made that play. Jake's had all kinds of physical troubles. He made a great play there.
You know, you're right about that. He broke his foot last year in the first game. Had to sit out, had surgery, missed spring. Here he's just dogged. Just stays after it. Nicely done.
And in comes John Anderson for a field goal try. Pickett holding. Zajac snapping. Oh, he hammered it, but he missed it. And Stengen pounds on his noggin. And so the Huskies are turned away with nothing.
Keith, remember Washington had 1st and goal at the 2 in the second quarter, had to settle for a field goal. Here they're inside the 10, and they missed the opportunity.
Keith Gilbertson there to the left is the offensive coordinator for the Huskies, and I bet you he's pretty snarly right about now. This is Chris Perry turning the corner on Washington's defense and picking up about 8 yards.
Well, Keith, I agree with you, and the reason is because he's an outstanding offensive coordinator, but he gets inside the 10 and he comes away empty. There you've got Reggie Williams. The kid is in a zone. He's 6'4". Why not throw him a jump ball in the end zone, let him go get it? Or, as you mentioned, Hurst and Alexis are sitting back there, 2 really talented running backs. Just put a bunch of blockers in and put them on the corner and try to let them run in.
Well, probably the reason is, and I'll define that in a moment, it's something that Rick Neuhauser said yesterday. Navarre turns and hands the ball away, and it's B.J. Askew carrying and did not get the first down. You got Cody Pickett, a sophomore, making his first start as the quarterback. And he's out there playing by rote. He's not out there playing loosey-goosey and saying, hey, we're going to score more points than you, or I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and dare you to do this. He's not quite at that point yet. And as a result, they're pretty much staying with the game plan. Stevens has got to be your target under that kind of a circumstance.
Well, and I submit to you that Keith Gilbertson has a staff up here breaking down the tendencies of Michigan. We don't. I guess he expected some things to happen.
Well, they stay with the ground game, and the old power, that just hunker down and bang them hard, and they've got their first down. B.J. Askew picking it up. Last month, Tiger Woods captured the World Golf Championships, NEC Invitational, and now he's playing away up in Canada in the Canadian Open. And he will continue his winning ways, he hopes, at the World Golf Championships, American Express Championships, which is ABC's coverage beginning Saturday, this coming Saturday, at 1 Eastern and 4 Pacific. Been a different kind of a year for Tiger. I think he's grown a lot this year. That ball is drilled, and it's in there for about 5 yards. Now again, we go to New York and John Saunders.
Keith, Auburn's defense has been dominating Ole Miss in the running game of Cassinius Moore. 36 yards on this touchdown run. A great cutback there to open up a 27-0 lead. Right now, 27-6 as Auburn looks to go to 2-0. Meanwhile, Oregon in a struggle with Utah. 16-10, and Utah was marching. Oregon has the ball now. Keith.
The coach at Auburn used to coach at Ole Miss. Ball is thrown to the sidelines and thrown out of bounds by John Navarre. Tommy Tuberville is he's a good football coach. He's done quite a good job rebuilding things at Auburn. And it's probably pretty quiet at Oxford right about now. Southeastern Conference may turn out to be kind of an interesting little fight before it's done this year. Third down and long 5. Navarre back, pressure coming, got away from Kelly, passes away to the sidelines, incomplete. Anthony Kelly bringing some pressure to Navarre, forced the high and wide throw.
Keith, they overloaded. They brought the blitz again, but watch right in the middle, number 70. That's Triplett. He's double teamed, fights through that, continues to get after it, and here he comes and makes Navarre rush right at the end, and he throws it high and wide.
And it's punting time again for the Wolverines as Epstein's in. And Willie Hurst takes it, no call, and brings it back to about the 30-yard line where Washington will have a first down. Michigan leading in the ball game by a score of 12-6. Sunday night, ESPN kicks off its 15th NFL season, 8:30 Eastern. Miami Dolphins against the Tennessee Titans. They'll be up in Baltimore, and the Baltimore Ravens. Only the Baltimore Ravens have beaten the Titans in that particular building. The Miami Dolphins rebuilding themselves. That'll be a fun game to watch. Here comes Washington now back to the attack. That'll be at NFL primetime, presented by Miller Lite at 7:30 Eastern time on ESPN.
Keith, look at Stevens. Look at him work. I think he's not going to make a great pro, although he's not worried about that now. He's just trying to get Washington a touchdown.
Get him cranked up.
Yeah.
They're not moving the ball. They had that one big play, and nothing. Well, Pickett and Hurst run together. Willie's trying to make something out of it, but the Michigan pursuit is too good. And Larry Foote is right there to make another tackle.
I'll tell you this, Rick Neuheisel, being a quarterback in college himself, he has tremendous patience with quarterbacks. He knows that Cody Pickett is in his first start, but it's that point now where he wants that kind of thing eliminated. They've had their scrimmages, they've had their camp, they've had their spring ball. Now he needs Cody Pickett to stop running in running backs and just get this thing moving.
Well, Taylor Barton is waiting for a chance to play, but has not seen action yet today, and he is older, more experienced, because Barton went first off to Colorado.
I'll tell you this, I think Neuheisel must be going through withdrawal pains. His first game without Tui.
Yes, might be. Larry Foote now has 12 tackles, 6 of them for loss in the game. That pass is well thrown to the sidelines for a first down and caught by Todd Elstrom. So that'll move the chains for you.
You know, this receiving corps was a weakness 2 years ago here at Washington. Now it's a strength. Every receiver that caught a pass a year ago is back and better. And then you add 2 very talented freshmen with Charles Frederick. And, of course, you've seen a lot of Reggie Williams today. I mean, they are extremely skilled at the wideout.
Well, it's kind of like Barry Alvarez said last week before the Oregon game. And I think his words were exactly, if you don't get us this year, look out.
Right.
Same might be said for these two teams. Got back. There's no contact. Ball is thrown high and away. Intended for Todd Elstrom. At the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, Chevy making a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
Keith, part of that ingredient you're talking about is this offensive line. You don't want to harp on it, but there's one senior, a freshman, and 2 sophomores on the interior. Everybody else is solid in the backfield, in the wideout, and you've got a young quarterback. This is a team that scored more than 30 points 8 times last year, so they aren't that far off.
2nd down and 10. Second, changing the play. Comes to Paul Arnold. And a sure tackle on Arnold by Todd Howard.
Keith, the other thing Rick Neuheisel is doing for Cody Pickett in his first start is he's keeping everything basic. He's keeping everything under the coverage, the umbrella coverage of Michigan. If you look at where he's been throwing the ball today, almost everything is under 15 yards. Very rarely has he gone deeper than that. 1-to-1 to the right and 0-1 on the other side. But obviously, if you look at this, almost everything's under 15 yards.
And he's got all that speed. Now he takes off. And he's caught from behind by Shante Orr, who stayed in his lane and stopped him short of a first down. That was a 3rd down play, and now it's 4th at midfield.
Not only does Rick Neuheisel have to be patient, but some of the players have to be patient. Willie Hurst that time was throwing a fit because he felt like he was open coming out of the backfield, and Pickett didn't find him. He can't show that frustration. He's got to go back and encourage Pickett and tell him he's out there and say, hey, I know you were under some pressure, but look for me next time.
McLaughlin into punt. Julius Curry is waiting, and Curry's dangerous. He is really quick. Circles under it. Fair catch. 16-yard line. Here's John Saunders in New York.
Keith, Cal starting the season giving up a lot of points. BYU scoring a lot of points, but it's Cal that goes to the air first. Kyle Bowler, 25 yards to Marcus Fields, and a 7-0 lead for Cal. Meanwhile, Miami and Rutgers, like we said, late start, but the offense has got it going for the Hurricanes. 24-0. Keith.
Michigan Wolverines first down at the 17-yard line. Their own 17. Barr hands the ball away to Perry. And Chris Perry will come up over the 20 as we come to the end of the 3rd quarter of play. So we've had only 1 touchdown in the ball game. It is Michigan 12 and Washington 6 with 15 minutes to go. Well, they're saluting the Don James era here this weekend. Great teams. Michigan broke their effort to win a 3rd straight Rose Bowl game in 1993. Carrying the ball here is Chris Perry, who's been pretty busy today. And as we start the final quarter of play, it was 2nd down and 4. And it's going to be 3rd down and short. A moment here with Todd James. Here's Todd with Don James and more of the story about Don and his great career.
Well, Keith, first of all, we have an online question from William B. Thomas of Reno, Nevada, and he asked, what has become of Don James? I miss his strategy and gamesmanship in college football. Well, I can tell you, Mr. Thomas, Don James is right here. Coach, good to see you, and it's got to feel good to remember what a great team you had back in 91, 92.
You know, it's good to see these guys. A lot of them I hadn't seen in 10 years.
How do they look?
They look good. They could play.
Evaluate the team you've seen out there today.
Oh, you see 2 new offensive lines, 2 new quarterbacks, and it's a good ball game. It's obviously a defensive game, but it's not over yet.
Well, you are a legend in these parts, and we wish you the best.
Thank you very much.
What's he been doing other than hustling the buck here and there on the golf course?
Exactly. He looks good, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I like Don James.
He had a great career here at the University of Washington. He really did. Played quarterback at Miami, as a matter of fact. University of Auburn and Coral Gables.
Keith, this crowd, it's a very football-savvy crowd, and I think they feel that if they can stop Michigan here, they'll get good field position and get back in this thing.
3rd down and 6. Pass is good to Walker, and Walker's got a first down for Michigan. For some reason, he has the remarkable ability to run that defender completely off and then turn around, and suddenly he's 4 yards clear.
Keith, part of the problem with Navarre early on was he was getting pressured. And Triplett was one of the guys doing that. So now look what they do to Triplett in the middle. I mean, they double him up, and they've got a third guy waiting for him in case he comes back the other way. He's 6'1", 295, and they're throwing him around like a rag doll.
First down, Wolverines up on the 30-yard line. Up the middle goes the play. It's a big play for Chris Perry. All the way to the Washington 40-yard line.
In a defensive game like this, the defense is on the field a long time because the offense isn't moving the chains. Right now here, late in the game, the start of the fourth quarter, it looks like the guys in purple jerseys getting a little bit tired. Watch the guys now in their pursuit. They were chasing these guys down before. Now they're missing tackles, going to their knees. They're not wrapping guys up. They're kind of quitting on the play, and there's not 5 and 6 guys around. They finally chased him down, and the 3 guys were there at the end, but they look tired.
Chris Perry picked up 29 yards on the play. He now has 90 on 21 carries. Got it again. And we'll move to the 38th on the Washington side before Kai Ellis makes his 3rd tackle of the day.
I want to tell you, one of the most frustrating things in the game of football has to be when you're a superstar like Larry Triplett. And again, I tell you, he's big time. He'll be a terrific pro, and he certainly is an All-American. But when you're double-teamed and triple-teamed, it takes a lot out of you. He's now taking a breather on the sideline, so he's not even in the ball game.
Navarro's pass is completed to B.J. Askew out of the backfield. He picks up about a yard on the play. And again to New York and John Saunders.
Keith, Oregon at home facing Utah, looking to go to 2-0 after the win against Wisconsin. Joey Harrington, 14 yards to Keenan Howry. They go for the 2-point conversion and do get it. They've also just picked off an interception, 24-10, Oregon with the lead now early in the first quarter.
Keith, this game is on the line, and there's your All-American on the sidelines. He's been out 2 plays now. This will be the 3rd.
3rd and a long 6. Just like they draw it up in the book. I think you're right. I think the Huskies are tired. Marquise Walker makes another catch.
You're in a tight fit situation with the game on the line. You need all your big-time players in the game. Cornerbacks are playing soft. They're in zone coverage. They just find the open area in the zone, the soft spot. And right now, Navarre is throwing with confidence. And this kid right here, Marquise Walker, has always had confidence. Sits in the open area, knows the open area, knows where the coverage is coming from, and makes the catch.
Omari Lowe is having a hard time covering him. This is B.J. Askew. It's a pretty good lick as he picks up about 5 yards, but a penalty flag lies in his wake. The hit was by Jamon Willis. It's obviously against the Wolverines. They have conceded it, and they're walking back the other way with 11 minutes and 42 seconds to play.
Offense, 10 yards from previous spot, still first down.
Keith, we showed you that Triplett was out trying to catch his breath. He missed 3 plays. Now he's back in the ball game, but this is why he's tired. Double teamed 20 times. He's got 1 sack, no tackles for loss. But, I mean, they are wearing him out.
What's the guy doing? Got up? Well, Jerome Stevens has been in there quite a bit, but I haven't called Marcus Roberson's name all day. So they're handling the Washington defensive front pretty well. That little swing pass coming back inside to Chris Perry, the tailback, and he'll have it down inside the 20. Monday night, ABC's Monday Night Football. The New York Giants and the Denver Broncos in Denver's brand new stadium. That'll be at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific on ABC.
Wolverines have used a lot of players today. They're still bouncing around, and the guys in purple right now looks like they have cement galoshes on.
Michigan controlling the clock and right now controlling the ball game, leading by 6 points, 12-6. This is B.J. Askew. And Stevens Number 59 among those involved in the tackle. So is Willis, number 6.
I don't think the coaches have to tell the Huskies that if Michigan scores here, they are taking serious control of this ball game.
Askew comes out. Perry goes back in at tailback for Michigan. Triplett is back in there, as Tim told you. And Navarre, not understanding something or not having the right people for the play call, spins a timeout with 10:07 to play in the ball game, and Michigan leading by 6. Time permitting, stay tuned. Thrifty Car Rental postgame report, scores and highlights from around the country. Don and Carol James standing there watching the ball game. Not terribly comfortable with the circumstance, since this was where Don James had his greatest successes coaching. Michigan has been very much a long-time worthy opponent for Washington. And this time the Huskies stacked up the play pretty well. They stopped him short of the first down on a 3rd down and 2. It was Chris Perry. And let's see if Epstein doesn't make an appearance, and he will. Here he comes. So he's going to make it now a 2-score lead if he can.
Run a counter tray, but Triplett fights his way through, and gets in there to get his hat on the ball. So he continues to battle despite the fact that they've been double and triple teaming. Marquise Cooper gets credit for the tackle.
An opportunity right here for Epstein on a 33-yard field goal to make it a 9-point lead for Michigan. Blocked by Omari Lowe. Picked up, and the other way it goes. Rock Alexander.
Do you believe it? Do you believe it?
No. Incredible turnaround of circumstances. They block it. Lowe blocks it. Alexander, the speedster, picks it up and races untouched into the end zone. And a chance right here for the Huskies to take the lead.
Keith, they were exhausted. Michigan was knocking at the door, taking control of the ball game. You talk about a big play and a turn of events. And how ironic, the ball ends up in the fastest guy on the field's hands.
Wow. Oh, so big right here for John Anderson. Pickett will hold it. Zajac snaps it. Right down the pipe. And the Huskies go to the lead 13-12 in a stunning play.
Omari Lowe, 6'1", 205-pound jet. He's a cornerback. He'll come out of the left hand of your screen. There he is like a rocket and lays out. Now see the top of your screen? That's Rock Alexander. The guy runs a 4.240. He is the fastest guy on the field. And he picked it up, and all of a sudden there are life in those dogs. He just flies down the sideline for the touchdown, and a remarkable turn of events.
Let's see how fast Rick ran.
Oh, he knows it. He knows when Alexander picks it up, he's gone. He just had to point him in the right direction.
Boy. But there's still 9 minutes and 11 seconds to play in the ball game, and I'll remind you that Michigan has been dominating since the middle of the 3rd quarter.
Resiliency. And give Rick Neuheisel the credit. They came from behind in 8 of 11 victories, 5 in the 4th quarter just a year ago. They just do not quit.
Well, if you let them keep hanging around, things can happen. That ball is kicked by Anderson way back into the end zone. We'll come out to the 20 ABC Sports presentation of college football, brought to you by Pepsi One, the first 1-calorie cola that tastes more like a regular. Pepsi One, this one's just right. Pacific Life, annuities, insurance, investments. Discover the power of Pacific Life. And Thrifty Car Rental. Great cars, great rates at over 1,200 locations worldwide. Thrifty Car Rental. That's Washington's first touchdown of the season on a block punt return of 77 yards by Rock Alexander. Michigan been beating on Omari Lowe all day, and perhaps the golf god said, okay, Omari, your moment. And he took advantage of it, and here's Todd Harris.
Well, Keith, an amazing turn of events. Rock Alexander with the touchdown, but there is a casualty. He lost a contact lens, and that was the first thing he said when he came to the sideline. He says, I'm going without contact lens. They just put his left contact in, so he gets a breather, but they'll get him right back in, the fastest guy on the field.
I don't think he lost it. I think he outran it.
The friction burned it. Second down and 8. Stadium's alive now. Intercepted! Omari Lowe! Touchdown! A ricochet interception, and Lowe dances into the end zone. It must be the water.
I hope this press box is stable because it's rocking.
My word. Omari Lowe blocks the field goal and now gets a ricochet interception for a touchdown.
Right side of your screen. Read it, react, get the tip, and take it in. I mean, that was a gift.
Anderson for the point. It's Washington 20, Michigan 12. And the Wolverines surely must be looking heavenward and wondering where it is Chicken Little could hide. You have 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in a ball game that has just turned around. Washington scoring 14 points in 51 seconds to go from when Michigan had a chance for a field goal to make it a 2-score lead. Suddenly have it blocked, boom, touchdown, then an interception, touchdown, and it's 20-12.
2 touchdowns. They haven't even had the ball offensively in this quarter.
But Lloyd Carr turned a moment ago, and I saw him say, let's go, let's move it. So he wants his people to hustle along here and get at it again. They'll bring it out to the 20-yard line as Anderson one more time kicks it deep into the end zone.
Now, if you're Michigan, you have to maintain your composure here. You can't let things continue to swirl out of control. You had a couple of bad breaks. A couple of turnovers cost you 2 quick touchdowns. You were in control of this ball game, so with 8 minutes and 14 seconds left, they've got to let Navarre take control again and just start pounding, maintain the ball, and move it down the field.
Touchdown and a 2-point conversion. You got a tie ball game. Down the stretch, you can see 2 timeouts remaining. Navarre's had a pretty good day. He's throwing again, and he throws behind the intended receiver, and it is incomplete. Again, let's go to New York and John Saunders.
Keith, some struggles for the Florida powerhouse schools. Louisiana Monroe against Florida. Ivory Brown from 2 yards out. Point after was no good. 6-0, and Monroe's just picked up a fumble recovery as well. Meantime, Florida State with just a 6-0 lead over UAB.
Penalty flags on the field here as Michigan comes up to the line of scrimmage. And we get the call here from the referee, Gordon Reese. But I think Michigan's going to be dinged here.
Full start, offense. 5 yards to the previous spot. Still second down.
Adrenaline's an amazing thing, isn't it? The defense that was just sucking air 2 minutes ago is now bouncing around and trying to get the crowd into this thing.
Adrenaline and youth. Don't forget that. This is one of the more remarkable moments in college football I think I've ever seen.
I'm with you.
But somewhere in that...
I tell you, you know, that youth was dragging its young behinds around the field a little while ago.
It certainly was. Wow. Navarre stands up and throws, and it's incomplete. Covering on the play was Rock Alexander, and he was covering Chris Perry out of the backfield. The other shocker of the day so far, and the day ain't over, was Fresno State going to Madison and beating the Badgers. We believe, we believe. 3rd down and 15 for Michigan. Ball is drilled into the numbers of Marquise Walker. One more catch for him. He has been enormous today for the Wolverines, but it is not enough for a first down.
Owen Biddle, a free safety, number 43 on the left hand of your screen. Just watch him. He stays after it, makes the tackle, and he's short of the first. Terrific play by the safety.
Walker, 10 catches, 98 yards. Here's the punt by Epstein, low and short, but it takes a Michigan bounce, and the Huskies pick it up. That's Willie Hurst getting a couple of yards on the return as he gets it back to the 45-yard line. 7 minutes and 25 seconds to play. Huskies leading by 8. Well, there are two guys that have had different fortunes on this day. Walker has just been remarkably good. Omari Lowe, on the other hand, was picked on, and then boom, boom, 2 plays and 2 touchdowns. He had a great hand in, scored one himself, and he's become quite a persona. At midfield now, as Matthias Wilson carries the ball for the Huskies.
Pacific Life game summary. Omar Lowe with the block. Rock Alexander with the wheels. Picks it up, says so long, and takes it to the house, 77 yards. Then here is the tip to Omari Lowe. And how about this? 14 plays for Michigan, 14 points for Washington.
And it didn't that. Now that's a confident dog. He's not going to let all this rowdy stuff interrupt his nap.
What do they say? Don't let sleeping dogs lie.
And you might want to leave that one alone. Matthias Wilson on a carry there. Will get little out of it. In fact, nothing. They just want that clock to run and run and run and run. Michigan with 2 timeouts remaining. Washington with all 3.
Keith, up until this series for Washington, those are the most incredible numbers I think I've ever seen in college football. 4th quarter, 14 plays for Michigan, 14 points for Washington.
Oh, look at this. Wolverines having another one. That's Larry Foote. He's a pretty important fellow in the scheme of things for the defensive side of the ball. I feel like that might have been a cramp. Here's Cody Pickett throwing. Complete. No, it's out of there. Incomplete for Stevens, and here is a penalty flag thrown by the referee, and it might be a roughing here because Pickett was turned upside down.
Boy, I want to tell you something. That is a big penalty when you look at the clock, you look at the score and say they were ready to make a stop, and now this will give Washington a first down. Huge penalty.
It would have been 4th down and 5.
Roughing the passer.
Oh.
Defense, 15 yards, previous spot. Automatic first down.
Watch after he releases. Do they have a chance to stop? You bet they do.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason for that.
That's a good call.
Yes, it's a great call, and that is a mental error.
Hoyer, Norm Hoyer.
And this from a team that had only 2 penalties a week ago. That one is a backbreaker.
Frustration. Cato June and Hoyer were the 2 people involved there. Here the Huskies will first down at the Michigan 35-yard line, and they'll run Rich Alexis into the middle. Again, they want to eat up the clock. Grind it, grind it, grind it. Cato June, injured all last year, coming back to play in the secondary for the Huskies. Hoyer had a hold of the Washington quarterback Pickett. He didn't commit the foul. That was June who got there late.
June's another one of those great stories, though. I mean, he had the ACL tear.
Oh, yeah.
And how guys come back from that, honest to goodness, I don't know, but they do with modern medicine.
Here comes Arnold into the ball game now for Washington. Converted tailback, playing wide out. Clock running at 5:15 to play in the ball game. 20-12. Huskies have the lead. Ball is handed away to the fullback. That's Matthias Wilson, and Wilson pounding along will pick up a first down for Washington at the Michigan 22-yard line. 5'11", 220 junior out of Ferndale, Washington.
Looked like a scrum in rugby. All you could see was the pile, but it kept moving. 220 pounds, watch him rumble. Now we'll just watch the white jerseys jump on top of him, and watch it just keeps moving. Look at this. Those are yards after contact. He just continues to move that pile.
If you were a Michigander, you'd want to walk out and look and say, there are no clouds. How can we have all this lightning? Remarkable fourth quarter of play. First down for the Huskies. Ball just short of the 22 of Michigan. They keep running it in the middle. It's Alexis and Victor Hobson takes him down. And Todd Harris with a story about Larry Foote.
Well, Keith, Larry Foote is in excruciating pain right now. They've got him down flat on his stomach. Number 17, the outside linebacker, and he has got not one but two cramps in his hamstring, and they are rubbing him out, and they just can't get the cramps out, and he is just grimacing in pain. So for right now, he's going to have to sit this thing out.
All right, thank you, Todd. And Washington leading 10-12 and in control of things right now at 4:26 to play in the ball game. Well, the summary is very simple. You've got 4:26 to play in the ball game. Washington leading by 8 points. They're certainly within John Anderson's field goal range. And if they get a field goal here, they've definitely put Michigan in a situation of 2 scores to catch up. And the Wolverines are still stunned, I'm sure. I mean, it's just a remarkable turnaround here in the fourth quarter. It is second down and a long 9 for the Huskies. They're just trying to kill the clock. Give it again to Wilson. And Wilson will go inside the 15. Well, the fullback certainly got fresh legs. He hadn't carried the ball but one time prior to the last 4 snaps. Now, all of a sudden, he's saying, whoopee, give me the ball some more and I'll run hard.
You're all over that one, partner. He's so excited right now. He's bouncing around. He's begging for the ball. They may have found something here with Matthias Wilson. Clock continues to move. Big third down play for Michigan.
They have 1 timeout remaining. Well, they're up against it right now for sure. And now Cody Pickett has come over, and Cody says we want a timeout. And so here come the water buckets onto the field, and we'll take a timeout as well. Well, even the alumni now have gotten louder with their band effort today. Students are not back to school here yet at the University of Washington. Back early October. And look at the smile on Larry Triplett's face. You don't think he didn't enjoy the circumstance. All right, Washington ball, 3rd down and 2. Pickett hands the ball to Alexis, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and keeps fighting forward and is very close to the first down. Carl Diggs was the man that hit him behind the line of scrimmage. They're not going to give him the first.
No, it'll be 4th down and short. I'd go ahead and kick the field goal, but Neuheisel is a gambler. You know, seeing that triplet shot, I think he was thinking like we were and everybody else in this stadium that the game was getting away from him when it was almost over and Michigan was ready to lock the door.
Well, if you kick a field goal here, you've got a 23-12 lead. You got a 2-score lead.
Exactly. But you've got Cody Pickett on the field. He's going to let this clock go all the way down. Get the 25-second clock down to about 2, and he'll call timeout, and they'll get the field goal team on. There it is.
Yeah. So they spend the timeout and they assemble the field goal team, and we'll see John Anderson, number 15, coming out.
Now you're playing the percentages.
Yep.
Now you're going to put 2. It'll take 2 scores to beat you, and they melted 25 seconds more off the clock. So I mean, the percentages for Michigan to come back now have been significantly lowered.
The history between next week's opponent for the Washington Huskies, the Miami Hurricanes, goes back to September 24, 1994. Miami leading 14-3. Damon Heward completes a pass to Richard Thomas, who takes it in to make it a 14-11 Miami lead. And then Frank Costa's pass is intercepted, and the Huskies pull it out and break a 58-game home winning streak. And then Miami coming to Seattle with Tuiasa Sopo having a great day. They beat the Hurricanes up here in Seattle. And next Saturday, Washington goes down to Miami. And there's one thing I can guarantee you, that by the end of the third quarter, the Huskies' hip pocket will weigh 500 pounds.
Oh, I agree with that. Hot and humid.
Well, it might rain. After what happened today, maybe it won't be. Maybe they'll have frost. This is a 30-yard field goal try by Anderson. And he made it. He made it. And the Huskies now lead 23-12. It wasn't
I was just going to say
profoundly good, but I'm waiting for the men in the striped shirts to put up their arm.
And I mean, everybody was holding their breath. It was very close.
It was good by a yard, looked like, from that angle.
Great effort by this Washington defense, and certainly coming up with the big plays on special team and defensively. It turned this thing around. Whatever it takes.
Michigan's going to get the ball back. Attaboy Spirit. Wake up for the festivities. They're going to have a party. The Wolverines are going to get the ball back at 2:36 to play in the game.
Now, this is a pretty good tradition here at Michigan, too, so I know Wolverine fans have not given up on this ball club.
There's some pride walking on the field here.
Amen, brother.
Notre Dame, Nebraska tonight, 5 o'clock West time. I could be provincial here for a second, since that's where we are, and 8 o'clock Eastern time. There's your scoring for the quarter. It was pretty quiet through the half, and only Michigan's touchdown came very late in the first half, just before halftime. They haven't been able to run anything back off Anderson today, and they're not going to do it this time. Well, they are too, but I don't know how good a decision that was. He got past that first man, but he won't get past this man. So it was not a good decision. He's taken down on the 5-yard line.
Joseph Lobendon just chased him down, or is that, yeah, it is. Lobendon. I mean, that is a big-time play.
Well, you can't take the ball 7 yards deep in the end zone and then run most of the way across the field without somebody finding it.
Well, I agree. So if you're going to make that mistake and you're on the cover team, you better make him pay. And this is a big guy that just used good technique, stayed with it, and made the tackle.
It was Todd Howard who brought it back. Marquise Walker now. Marquise Walker has a career record going. 11 catches now for 107 yards and the touchdown. That is far and away his career high. And you know that Navarre's going to be looking for him on every snap. They go out wide with it.
Out of bounds.
And steps out of bounds.
That
That'll be Ronald Bellamy. He's a former running back, and here's a flag that's going to go against the Huskies.
Yeah, see, now that's not a smart play by Rock Alexander. The guy was a hero in this game, and all of a sudden, he goes out of bounds and takes a cheap shot. So that's 15 more yards and a first down when you had him backed up. Bellamy goes up. Now Bellamy will give up. Watch. Inside, now he realizes, I better get out of bounds. So he gives up, goes out of bounds, and then here comes the cheap shot from behind.
That's a big foul.
Well, it sure is.
2:12 to play in a ball game, and now the Wolverines, instead of being back on their 5-yard line or back inside the 20 at least, sitting out here with good field position. One strike, and they're back in the ball game.
Yeah, but Keith, they can't dink and dunk like they're doing here. They've got to take some shots downfield.
Yep, you got to go deep. Got to play vertical football now. It's thrown out to Walker, but again, that's that dinkum stuff that you're talking about. Out to the 41-42. Pickup of about 4 yards, maybe 5.
See, that's not going to help him go under 2 minutes now. time's short, even if you're trying for one score when you play that kind of football.
Walker's 12 catches, 111 yards. He's got another one thrown out of bounds. He's about 2 yards short of the first down.
See, here's the task at hand. You're working with a minute 45 in the ball game. You have to score, then you've got to kick off and get the ball back, and then score again. So you've got to take that shot here a couple times.
Ty Streets and Brad Myers held the Michigan receiving record for the number of catches in the game, and now Marquise Walker's got 14. He's broken their record by 2 and moves into the record book as a Wolverine in his senior year.
That's a terrific play right there. Split the seam, they hit him, they move the chains. Now the clock stops with 1:38 left. Now you're talking.
Ball is on the 30 on the Washington side. First down for the Wolverines. Navarre looking good in this possession. Out of the shotgun. Buys him a little bit of time. Good protection. Throws across the field the other way, and it's caught by Calvin Bell. Bell's a speedster from Simi Valley, California. He had 6 catches last week at the Miami game.
He threw that ball 50 yards to gain 5. There's a flag down
on the far side.
Offside, defense, 5 yards from previous spot. Still first down.
1st and 5 coming up now for Michigan. Time remaining 1 minute and 26 seconds. We saw Michigan at the conclusion of the first half, closing moments, handle the clock very well. They do it again. To the end zone. No, little bit behind Walker. If the ball is out in front of him, I think he makes the catch. He had to reach back for it.
I think if he throws it earlier, he's got him. If he hits him at the 10, it's a touchdown. He waited, he waited, he waited. It was a cover 2, which means the defensive back gives him up to the safety, and they both come after him. And I think they just waited too long. But you're right, once he did throw it, it was behind him.
2nd down and 5. 1:21 to play. Overthrown over his head, out of bounds. Greg Carruthers coming after Navarre, and John had to unload it.
This has been a terrific game plan defensively for Washington. They've come with all kinds of blitzes. They've come off the corner. Here they come straight up the middle. This is Carruthers, the strong safety on a safety blitz, totally untouched. So they gamble on what is a passing down, obviously, with this much time left in the game, and they bring their safety.
1:17 remaining from the Washington 25. Across the field, it's thrown. Short of the first down. Tackle by Omari Lowe on Calvin Bell. It'll be 4th down and 1. And Michigan just spent its last timeout, did it?
I don't know. I think they called for a measurement, so they don't have to use the timeout.
No, they
is it? No, it is a timeout. You're right.
Time. So, here's the story. 1:04 to play in the game. 4th down and 1 for Michigan. They trail by 9 points. And today's Chevrolet players of the game are Marquise Walker for the Wolverines, 14 receptions, 139 yards and a touchdown. He's run 13 yards on a reverse and blocked the punt for a safety. Not a bad day. For Washington, Omari Lowe, who picked on all day, still has 10 tackles. He's blocked the field goal and then returned a 21-yard interception for a touchdown, and his blocked field goal bounced to Rock Alexander, who raced 77 yards to score himself. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet making a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. And 14 catches by Walker, the most receptions ever against the Washington Husky football team. So Marquise has had quite a day. Here's the try for the 1 yard they need for the first down by the quarterback, John Navarre, and he gets it.
More importantly, the first down stops the clock. 1:09. Now you got to take a shot right now. Don't waste it. Into the end zone.
Yeah, now you got to throw the ball in the end zone.
Without a doubt.
Down on the 20-yard line. Clock is running inside a minute now. That's into the end zone, and it is incomplete. Omari Lowe covering Walker, and I think Omari covered his vision just enough to keep him from catching it.
That's what it was, because our player of the game, Omari Lowe, was beaten here. He got just the hand up there to take the ball out of the sight of Walker.
Those are your two Chevy players having it out in the end zone.
He even got a hand on it. He was beaten badly at the 5, made up some ground, and got up just enough to knock it away from Walker.
Navarre has a lot of time going to the corner for Walker. He's got this one.
All right, folks.
It's a touchdown, and it comes with 49 seconds to play in the ball game. I like the way Navarre has stepped up in that last possession. He was a cool customer.
Well, Keith, here I think Michigan has to go for 2. You go for 2, you make it a field goal game. That's it. Plenty of time for Navarre. Another good move by Walker. Walker playing the fox against Lowe, and he just doesn't give it away with his eyes and then makes the catch.
This has been some quarter.
This is terrific. Last week with Oregon, Wisconsin, it was the 3rd quarter. We had 6 lead changes. Here, it's the 4th quarter.
They're going for 2. Trips at the top of the picture, Navarre. Gets it off, and it is incomplete. The defense on Walker by Lowe.
Those two are battling. Those two, Lowe and Walker. Lowe's won some, Walker's won some. Don't lose much by not getting it, because now you do have to go for the touchdown rather than the field goal. Lowe reads his eyes. Here it is. Here comes Lowe. Gets, again, in the vision of Walker. That ball was in his hands, though.
Yeah, he had his hands on it.
He should have made that catch.
Well, I don't know. Omari had hit the ball. He knocked it off its flight a bit. But still, Marquise had both his hands on it.
Isn't it fun to watch that competition, though? Lowe won some and Walker won some. So now you strap it on and you get ready for the onside kick. The hands team will come on. Wow.
And the time remaining, which is perhaps the most important thing, 49 seconds. 23-18, Washington by 5.
Now, if Michigan gets this thing back, look out. You know, I can remember being on the receiving team on the onside kicks, and your heart's pounding because everybody knows it's coming, and you've got to make the play.
You can hyperventilate.
You can't bobble it
like this.
You can't be unsure yourself.
It's caught, fielded by the wide receiver, Paul Arnold. It went right past Jeremy Stevens, and Paul Arnold, backing him up on that side, took it right to his arms and folded it into the chest. And 47 seconds to play. Again, John.
All right, Keith, we just want to remind everyone that Nebraska and Notre Dame comes your way at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Notre Dame, good game, took them to overtime last year, but boys can be tough in Cornhusker land.
Bob Davies says it's his best talented group since he's been there. 15 starters back. They better use that talent to stop the run if they're going to win.
All right, that's tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern time. Nebraska, their 3rd game. For the Irish, their 1st. Keith.
Washington trying to kill the clock now. They'll come back, take a knee, and start the clock rolling because Michigan has no timeouts remaining, and the clock moves toward its inevitable end. I don't know how to explain what happened, except that's college football. You never know till it's over. like Yogi said.
There is just nothing better than college football on a fall Saturday afternoon.
That's Chris Berry, who had a fine ball game himself. Marquise Walter was quite remarkable with his performance. And Omari Lowe had a remarkable day in his career. Another knee, and that'll do it. The game is over. The Huskies come racing onto the field. Michigan walks out. They shake hands. It was a terrific college football game. Improbable, perhaps, but really entertaining. And so Washington wins when not a lot of people thought they might. And here is Todd Harris with one happy coach.
Well, Rick, what is it with you in fourth quarter? I don't know, but we're not going to change anything. We seem to find a way, and it's a credit to the character in the program. In the fourth quarter, though, the momentum changed in 51 seconds, 14 points. You must have had your doubts. Well, we've had that happen to us before. We stayed patient. That was our big watchword throughout the week. You can't beat a fine program like Michigan without being patient. We stayed in there. We hung in there with a big-time program, and all of a sudden lightning struck for us, and that's what usually happens in that fourth quarter. Good luck in Miami. Thanks. We'll look forward to it. Yep.
I think we're right here.
That's a long trip from here to Miami. But here's some of the things that happened in this ball game that made it so exciting.
Marquise Walker with the block of the field goal. They got a safety. Came down the other end. Marquise Walker goes inside, comes out. He has a touchdown. So he was the star of the first half. Now here comes Omari Lowe. He blocks it. Rock Alexander, fastest guy on the field, picks it up. He's gone. Touchdown. 51 seconds, 2 touchdowns as Omari Lowe with the tip takes it in. And then, of course, Marquise Walker tried to get back in this thing with the late touchdown. Too little, too late. And the Huskies get the 23-18 win.
I'm going to thank Kelly Hayes, Mark Ametto, and all the ladies and gentlemen who made this whole thing work. It was a wonderful afternoon in Seattle. Our producer, he was all right, Mark Loomis, and our director, Patrick McManus, and we enjoyed being with you on this sunny day from the great Pacific Northwest.
Good job, partner.
Once again, our final score, Washington 23, Michigan 18. ABC Sports online at ESPN.com, keyword ABC Sports. College football on ABC Sports continues at 8 Eastern with Notre Dame.